You're listening to the Dark Side of the Mic podcast with James
Nothing says no balls like your wife putting you on a diet.
and Austin.
Everybody's a freaking idiot to some extent. Some people are dumber than others.
What's going on, everybody? Dark Side of the Mic podcast, episode number 195. We're inching up closer to 200. My name is James.
It's Austin.
And today in the building, we got the one, the only,
The man, the myth, the legend.
the former pro MMA fighter, former bartender, former Camp Gladiator, beast, and now current real estate agent, Micah Franks. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you guys?
Good, man. Doing good.
Wonderful, man.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. This is
Yeah.
my first podcast, actually, so I'm a little
Yeah.
nervous. But I think I'll be all
Congratulations,
right.
who popped that cherry.
Yeah, man. Feels good, too.
You did a guest spot on the Paul Rodriguez show
Did I?
before. Yeah.
Really? See?
Hey, you know, you're just lying already on the podcast.
Oh, I sure did. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. It's been a while.
Which, by the way, he's giving away $100 on his show on YouTube. So go check out Power Rodriguez Show on YouTube.
Did he reach his goal yet?
Mm-hmm.
He did.
Yeah. Kind of helped push him over that little mountain.
Shout out to Dark Side of the Mic.
Yeah, for sure. Let's get into it, man. I don't have Emilio. What's going on, Emilio?
Emilio's MIA.
Yeah.
Andrew's working his ass off trying to keep people's heat on.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Andrew for keeping people warm and keeping people cold.
Man, that's a tough job, especially now when it starts getting cold. Like I can't even imagine being outside right now.
I was talking to him on the phone. He does AC.
AC and heat. Yeah.
HVAC, right. Yeah. I was talking to him on the phone about this weekend coming up, trying to get some shit like figured out. You know, where I need to be, what I need to do to help. And he was like, bro, I'm fucking busy. I gotta call you back. I was like, all right. He calls me back, and we were on the phone for like maybe 6 minutes. And he's like, dude, I'm just too busy. So
Yeah.
Man's out there getting it, dude.
Yeah, it's real, man. It's the time of year when things are going bad. My buddy, his landlord just had to replace their air conditioner, and he didn't want to do it because it was like going to be a $12,000 replacement.
ACs aren't
But
cheap.
it was so old that the dude came to service it, and he was like, dude, the next time y'all even like try to turn the heat on, this thing's not going to work. Sure enough, they got cold. They tried to turn the heat on, and they went to go replace it today. So
Nice.
it's that time of year, man.
Yeah, that's what Andrew said. They go do like a bunch of PM shit, like preventative maintenance. Like, and he was like, everybody wants to wait till the day before it's fucking cold.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, let's not fix it while we don't have an issue, but then wait till we have issues.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm one of those people because I mean we got like the gas heater inside
I
in the
think
living
it's
room.
hot as fuck too.
Yeah, we got to clean it out and stuff. But I mean, during the summer when it's hot,
Does it smell like burnt lint whenever you turn on?
like spider webs and shit like that. Just open up the door, fucking let it blow out.
It's like my favorite thing to smell whenever wintertime comes is the heater turn on.
Yeah,
it's fucking weird.
Burnt
bro.
lint, like your belly button on fire.
Just burnt ass shit. Yeah.
How's the real estate? How's it going?
It's good, man. It's good. You know, the market's up and down. When I first got into the market, it's when everything was selling way overpriced. Lots of cash buyers. Things were on the market, and in the day they were gone. You know what I mean? But the market switched quite a bit in the last couple of months. About June, the market just switched on 180, and interest rates went up. A lot of buyers are sitting on their ass because they're not wanting to buy right now because their payments are just so much more with the interest rate higher. And so, but man, I mean, people are still buying and selling. It doesn't matter. Like, if you have a need, go ahead and do it. There's a saying in real estate that says, date the rate, marry the home. Like, buy the thing. You can always refinance at some point when the rate goes down. But as real estate does what it normally does, it gradually appreciates, and things get a little bit more expensive as time goes on. You know what I mean? So right now things are a little in a decline because they were going so high so fast for so long, and the numbers just weren't where they really should have been. People were just paying so much more because inventory was down. So the people who had all the money were saying, hey, I'll take it for 500, 100K more, this or that, whatever. And so prices were just really, really inflated. And so we're just kind of figuring out where they really should fall. But once everything pretty much levels out, it's going to keep doing what it always does, which is just gradually appreciate. So if it's the right time for you to buy or sell, whatever, if that's what's right for your family, go ahead and do it.
You've done a lot of things in your life leading up to, what are you, in your late 30s?
What do they call him? A man of many hats.
Yeah, man. I turned 37 back in August.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you're still young.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, you're still young, man.
I keep it moving, so trying to keep that youth.
How come, what made you dip into real estate?
Honestly, a good buddy of mine got into it a few months ahead of me. We've been together doing Camp Gladiator for years. You know, I did Camp Gladiator for 8.5 years.
Yeah, you did it for a while.
Long time, man, here in town. It started out in Bastrop, but anyways, he got into it, the grind is a lot of the same type of thing. It's networking, it's serving people, you know what I mean? And that's what I've come to really find out that I enjoy, is helping people get what they want, helping be that person in the middle that hears a need and like, hey, I got you, I can help you with that, and making that that situation and that whole thing as pleasurable as possible. Because man, you know, let's be real, like some people have some horrible stories when it comes to real estate or just working with anybody, and I always want to leave people leaving away from me feeling like, man, that dude fucking helped me out. It was great experience, he was cool, he was honest, he was blah blah blah. and making them feel like they got a friend on the
Yeah,
end that's
like you
helping
actually
them.
helped them for them, not for you. Yeah,
right.
That's
and
cool.
I feel like, and I've always been taught that, like, your gifts will make a way for you. You know what I mean, and help you provide for yourself. If you're doing what you're called to do and you're in your purpose, you're going to in turn get back what you need. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I try to help people get what they need, and that's why I was a trainer for so long. I love helping people get fit, work out, push themselves hard. Really, man, I love to kind of torture people, if I'm being honest. Like,
I
was a college athlete. I did MMA for several years. Been out there, pushed my body. I know how hard it is and how hard you need to push to be better and to strive for something. And I know it ain't easy. So I like being the person who can help them achieve that and do it in a fun way. And while they're doing it, they're enjoying their time, they're enjoying my company, and we're just fucking getting after it. And in the meantime, everyone's getting a little bit better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
you can push them a little bit further.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Just keep
cool.
on rocking.
How long did you do MMA?
I started in 2008, started in training in 2008, and I think I had my first fight about 10 months later. And the day after my 21st birthday, I think I had my first fight.
Dude, I remember going and watching you at Kings of Combat. I don't remember which one it was, but this was, man, I don't even remember like when it was. But I remember we went and watched you at the Kalunga, and I think Gilly might have went also.
Yeah, I think they went to every single one of my fights, man. Out of town, everything. So those are my riders right there.
You miss it?
I do, man. I really, really do. Honestly, I never would have stopped training if I wouldn't have got into Camp Gladiator. When I got into Camp Gladiator, I had no idea that it was going to take so much of my time. And like, I always kind of thought I was going to be able to get back to it. You know what I mean? And so while I was helping build Camp Gladiator, and then once I got it to a point where I had a good 30, 40 people, and I'm like, man, I'm kind of doing something here. I'm helping some people, you know what I mean? Like, and I realized that if I'm really going to do this thing, Camp Gladiator, and I'm going to make money at it, and it's going to be my career or whatever, I'm really going to have to go all in. And so, man, when I did that, it just took all my time, and I just couldn't do them both. I couldn't half-ass. I didn't want to hop in the cage with an animal who's training full-time to beat the hell out of the person on the other side, and I'm just half-assing it, part-timing it, because I took a fight like that, man. One of the fights I had when I was in school for training back in 2010, 2011, I just started school. I took a fight. I was only able to train on the weekends, and I remember getting in that cage, and this dude's big. I fought him twice. His name is Ox. Big old guy. Big black guy, dog. He looks like, oh man, you look at him like he's scary. He's muscle bound, dark as shit, chocolate, scary, bro. I'm looking at this dude like, I get in that cage and that cage door closes, and I'm like, holy shit. I'm like,
really?
I don't know if I'm ready for this. I beat him.
What's the level of nervousness you get when you do that? When you get in the cage and they close that door?
Honestly, man, I'm so confident in myself that even though it's scary, and I'm like, I know this is you don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know what punches are coming. You don't know if you're gonna end up on the ground or where it's gonna end up. But I'm confident in me that wherever we end up, I'm gonna be all right.
And you know what I mean? Confidence through training.
Yeah, and obviously, you know what I mean. And I trained 6 or 7 days a week back then for the time that I was competing.
You were going to King, was it Kings?
Yeah, King Web MMA,
King Web,
Luling MMA in San Marcos. He also had another gym at the time in Seguin. And then some of the schools and the people that he's trained up, schools in San Marcos and Kyle and other gyms, and some of the other instructors I was seeing. I was doing boxing in San Marcos, and yeah, man, I was just training a lot, getting a lot of time in, getting a lot of practice and rounds and all this stuff, dude. And I was living it at the time, dude. Like, I loved it. You couldn't pull me away from it. You couldn't have me. I was there to train every day without fail. I was bartending at the time. I was getting off work at fucking 3, 4 in the morning, getting home, getting up a couple hours later and driving to training. And people are like, what the hell are you doing here? I'm like I'm fucking ready, bro. Like, this is what I want to do. You know what I mean? And it was fun, dude. And I loved it, to be honest. Like, it was a dream come true. Like, I grew up watching all kinds of fucking martial arts movies and ninja. I thought I was going to be some kind of fucking ninja. And like, I was literally living my dream, dude. And like, you know, it hyped people up. People were so inspired and shit by it. Like, And I was just doing something I loved. I didn't have to get paid a dime. And I did make some decent money doing it, man.
Yeah.
I think my last fight, it wasn't a whole lot. I think my first fight I made $200, and then I think I made like $600, and then like $1,000, and then like $1,500.
Damn.
And just little bit by little, I think my last fight I got like $2,800. I think I fought for like $1,400, and then I got another $1,400 for winning. And that's basically how it is. Like you get paid to show up. You're a professional. They pay you just to get there. If you win, you normally get double that. And in some promotions, there's incentives and they got bonuses. And if you're fight of the night, you get this or that or whatever. You know what I mean? But just contract wise, I think the most I got was like $2,800.
You ever try to make it on Ultimate Fighter?
Man, I never did.
Huh?
Like, no. I thought about it all back then, but it would be a dream, to still get out there and compete and do some stuff like that. And I mean, as I get older, man, I realize I don't have all the time in the world, but I still feel as great as ever, man. I mean, I'm a little chunky at the moment. I could diet and get down, get leaner and condition more and do the things I would need to do to get ready for a fight. And yeah, it's something that burns in the back of my mind sometimes.
I was gonna say,
if I just did it, I don't know, man. Honestly, it's something that intrigues me, and as someone who likes to push and likes to encourage other people to do shit that get out their comfort zone and all that shit, like I've been burning to get back out there still for like 7-8 years, bro. Like, I don't know.
That's what it's about, man. Getting outside of your comfort zone, doing shit. That's how you grow as a person.
Absolutely.
I heard this guy saying about, like, as far as being athletic or being able to do things in like an athlete kind of mind frame, is that our minds tell us one thing, but our bodies, if we're not staying conditioned, our bodies will still let us do it, but then that's how we end up getting hurt. Because our conditioning is not in our brain, it's on our body, but our brain will tell us, oh yeah, man, you can still jump 5 feet in the air and jump on, and then your fucking knees take out and your ankles are gone. But yeah, it's all about, it could be inconsistent, staying with it. Me, I have a hard time getting in the truck sometimes. That's how out of shape I am, bro. It's not necessarily in a shape, out of shape.
You might need some Camp Gladiator.
Shit.
Hey, it's still out there, man. I mean, I don't do it anymore.
Bro.
I quit CGE about 5 months ago.
They do it everywhere now too, right?
Oh,
like,
it's all over the
Lockhart.
place, man. Well, we have it over there. It's over there at St. Mary's Church.
I used to see you out there when I was running all the time.
Yeah, exactly. You run by.
Yeah.
And over there at the Justice Center, and then in Tanktown.
Yeah, I've seen it in Tanktown.
Yeah, Jenny, the girl who runs it, her name is Jenny Saw. She loves Tanktown, man. And she's trying to do her best to help give Tanktown a good name. You know what I mean? Because I mean, you're from Lockhart, and for a lot of times, there's not a lot of people have a lot of good to say about Tanktown sometimes for whatever reasons, but she wants it to be a place that people have good.
They have a venue over there, wedding venue over there too.
Yeah, it's right there. She's right there outside of that place.
There,
I saw they had something the other day. Like, it's pretty nice.
Yeah,
place.
it looks nice. It's different. It's Tanktown, but it looks nice. You know what I mean? Like, for the location and where it's at.
It's like as soon as you cross the tracks, it's like, am I in a different area? Hold on.
I mean, they're supposed to be doing something with those tanks. I heard, right?
Yeah,
I heard that. Man, I thought I heard they were supposed to try to make like some apartments or some shit
I
out
heard
of
that
it.
same thing. Yeah.
Like, I don't know how that's gonna happen.
make
It sounds
studios.
cool, but I have yet to see it. I mean, as a real estate agent, like, I'm curious. Like, you're gonna do what with those damn tanks?
Yeah.
But
Throw some insulation in
No,
there.
for sure,
it's gonna be cold
having
in
a
the
cooked
winter.
motherfucker
Or
in
you
there.
gotta be baked. Yeah, exactly.
I drove by there. I drive by there almost daily, and man, they tagged up like on one side of the tits, all tagged up.
Oh man.
And I was like, man, dude, like, I mean, they're kids, obviously, and I'm like, dude, why you want to like make your community and your neighborhood like look like trash? You know what I'm saying?
They don't get it.
Yeah, it's a youth thing, but I mean, I feel like, it's up to people like us that are, like, where we've grown up and we've matured already to kind of just educate the youth and show them the right direction to go in, as opposed to, the wrong way, because I mean, you're young and you make stupid decisions which could impact your life long term, for
Who are you telling? Oh, for sure, man.
Yeah.
And that's a conversation I've had with a few of my friends. I come from a family of ministers. My dad's a preacher. has been since I can remember. My grandfather's a preacher. My uncles, a couple of my uncles are preachers. My oldest brother is the chaplain at TCU. So it's kind of like a coach. And he gets to deal with a lot of the students and the athletes, you know what I mean? He has relationships with a lot of them, and he goes to all the games and this and that. And then I believe my other two oldest siblings are both ordained ministers too, I believe. But anyways, all I'm getting at is I come from a family of ministers, and it's always been something to me that I do want to give back. I do want to serve. I don't know that I'll ever be standing behind somebody's pulpit. I don't think that's me. But doing all the stupid things that I've done in my life, starting with the burning down of HEB at 11 years old, you know what I mean? I sold freaking drugs. Starting at 15 years old, I used to sell freaking Xanax in school, you know what I mean? Like, it was ridiculous. And I didn't start out making a lot of great decisions, you know what I mean? And even though I was taught way better than what I was doing, I was out there doing a lot of crazy shit. And then even on into my early 20s, you know, I had my first son at 20 years old, my second one at 23. I did a lot of things to make my life pretty damn challenging, you know what I mean? But none of those things ever truly held me back. I've still done a lot of great things with my time and my efforts, and making something of my life and continuing to try to grow and to push and to do more things, you know what I mean? And I feel like I'm doing that, and I feel like it's always been something that I want to do for I guess younger folks, not necessarily youth group maybe or somehow, but I want to positively affect the youth in our community and inspire them to do big things and help them see like
sort of mentor on the
and like, bro, I've been that dude. I've done all this shit. None of that shit's gonna get you anything that you really want in life, but a headache, you know what I mean? Get you in trouble. Like,
do you remember people telling you that when you were young?
Oh yeah.
so you can kind of like think back and like think and remember how you received that message as like a youth, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And that's why I really want to do it, because I feel like a lot of the people that I had in my life talking to me hadn't I don't feel like they had the credibility that I have. You know what I'm saying? Having been through a lot of the stuff that I've been through, to be able to say, like, look, kid, I've been there, I've done that. Like, let's do this, because that ain't what you need. You know what I mean? Like, and the people that I was being preached to a lot of were just square ass people. You
think, like, as far as like whenever he was saying, like, somebody already told you that. Like, I've had people tell me things when I was younger, and I was like, oh, fuck that. What the fuck does he know? Like, what do you think is, like, clicks in kids' heads that make them not want to listen to people that, like, now that I'm older, I'm like thinking back, man, I should have fucking listened. Like, how stupid was that shit? How do you think we could make that click in kids' heads at a younger age instead of when they turn 25, you know?
Yeah.
Especially young men, we take a long time to get common sense and to build the type of character that can listen to somebody instead of thinking, oh, he's just trying to tell me what to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
I wouldn't be able to tell you the first thing about how to try to get somebody to actually take some common sense from somebody the right way, you know?
I'm telling you, man, because I mean, that was the exact problem with living in the household that I lived in with my dad. My dad was always like the preacher. You know, he wasn't. He's a great dad, don't get me wrong. He provided, he was there, he did all the things, but I felt like I was always dealing with a preacher, you know what I mean? And man, it's hard having someone who's like always coming down on you, and just being the way that he was. And so I don't know, man, being around someone, and my point is, like, for whatever reason, I wasn't hearing him. You know what I mean? He was always teaching me the right things and trying to instill in me the right things. I mean, dude, when I would get in trouble, like, my dad was something serious. First of all, I would wake up and go to bed to gospel music all the time. When we went to sleep, he would play. You can ask any of my friends when they came over, when it was time to go to bed, my dad would come in, turn the radio on, put on some gospel music. He'd pray with us. He'd sit there and pray with us. Hey, y'all shut up. And he'd pray with us, and then he would go out the room. You know what I mean? But I mean, it was tough being around him a lot of times, but he was always trying to lead us in the right direction. But man, like, I saw him as the dude who was just getting in the way of what I wanted to do. You know what I mean? And what I wanted to do, though, wasn't getting me nowhere good. You know what I mean? And he could see that, and I could say, oh, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, but he's wise enough to know the difference. And like, you know, like if you're doing this, the proof is in the pudding. Like you can say one thing, but I can see this.
Especially now that we've gotten older and we sit there and we look back on ourselves saying that, and like, how stupid did we look? Like, we're sitting here trying to convince somebody that's been through it what the fuck we're not doing.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it's a cycle of life, man. And that's why, like, you know, like I would encourage people to have kids, you know what I'm saying? Because it gives you, in my opinion, the full 360 of life, you know? Like, I still, you know, to this day, see my mom and myself, like, oh, this is why she said that, or this is why, or and I realized, like, I felt bad at times. I'm like, dude, I was a punk ass kid, you know what I'm saying?
Man, I have those moments.
I don't know how long it took me to stop finally apologizing to my dad for being an asshole to him. And I'd just like randomly call him and be like, hey, what's up, man? I'm like, just want to tell you, man, I'm sorry for being a fucking punk ass kid. Oh, you ain't gotta worry about it. That was your job. And he's all understanding and nice, and I'm like, nah, fuck that kid that was being like that to you. Like, just unappreciative. But now it's like, he's like, that's what kids do. And as adults, we got to deal with it. We got to teach them better. So,
yeah.
We got a comment here from Ryan Gonzalez. Listening to someone tell you what to do isn't the same as someone who's done it telling you why not to do it by example. Which, you know, yeah, it makes
Absolutely.
sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why I say I feel like I have a better platform to talk to some of these people. Because, yeah, I'm not just telling you as someone, hey, this is statistically you should do. Like, no, dude, don't do this because I'm telling you from experience.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah.
yeah, exactly. He said lead by example.
Let's go. If you don't mind, let's go back to HEB for just a bit.
I had that feeling that was coming.
I'm wondering, like, did y'all set out over there by I don't think y'all set out to like do what happened.
Right.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but what was going through your mind, and then when you see things like getting out of hand, like what was going on in your head and all that?
Well, so for all the people who don't know, I guess I'm gonna tell this story. All right, so let me just go back and just give you this is how the day started. Me and Mondo Vega are starting at his house, right? We were at his house. He lives over here by Dr. Lawrence's office. We walk across town to over by the hardware store by what used to be the Circle K. My aunt lives there, right? My mom was staying there at the time. Me and my mom were staying there at the time. My uncle, he barbecues all the time. There's matchbooks all over the house. You can find them in the drawers. You can find them next to the barbecue pit. You can find them wherever. I just happened to grab a box of matches, put it in my pocket. Didn't see those matches all day long until we get to HEB. Anyways, we stop at the recreation center. Back in the day, Miss Lee used to have the rec center open.
The Den, right, is what it was called, I think.
I think so. Yeah. Something right there across from where the lounge is right now. And they had old school games and this and this and that. It was, whatever people would donate and this and that. It was, it was all right. And so we were there for a couple hours and just bullshitting. And then we decided to walk over to HEB. They got the old race car games and shit up there, that you could play. So me and Mondo walk over there, and my buddy, this guy that I knew happened to be walking into the store, and I just happened to see him, and I was like, oh shit, started talking to him. I had no intention to like walk around in the store, and then I was just walking around with him. So we're walking around the store, we're here and there. I'm in a tank top. This is December 20th, 1996. Or December 21st, one or the other. Either way, but it was somewhat warm. I had on a tank top, shorts. We're walking around the store. We're walking down the back of the store it's real cold. I have my hands in my pockets. We end up going to the, the cosmetics aisle. I'm asking him. So he's got braids, all right? At the time I'm 11 years old. He's 13, a little older kid. Long hair, braids. It's cool. I want to do this shit to my hair. How'd you do this to your hair? So that's how we end up in the cosmetics aisle, right? And so he's showing me all the relaxer and this and that. We're at the end of the aisle. That's where all this stuff is, and then we're gonna head towards the front of the store. We turn and start walking. I have my hands in my pockets. I fill the matches. I take the matches out. I light one. I let it burn to the end. I throw it on the ground, step on it. I light another match. I'm walking with it. I see a grown-up or someone bigger than me pass me, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm playing with matches. And I shake it and toss it, and I get out. As soon as we get out the store, okay, we're out, no big deal. I'm out. I can't get in trouble no more. grab a soda, sit on the sidewalk, chilling. That dude that I happened to see at the store, his grandmother was there. So he's talking to her outside. And then, boom, all these people start running out the store saying that there's gunshots and all kinds of shit. Everyone's like, what? Everyone's running. It's crazy. So we're like, what the hell? So, let's get out of here. We start walking back towards Mondo's house, which is on the other side of town because it's by Dr. Lawrence's office. We're walking, sirens, this and that. We see a little smoke. And, okay, the smoke's getting bigger, and after all, I was like, no way, like, there's no way that, like, but at the same time, I'm like, I didn't see it go out. I was playing with a match, like, but no way, like, no way. We get all the way to Mondo's, we turn on the news, it's on the news, it's like, holy shit.
Did you know that you did it?
I mean, like I said, that's how my whole mindset was like, I didn't do that, or I didn't intend to do that, but
it happened.
So, my mom picks me up that evening, me and Mondo, about 6:30 or something like that. And she picks me up, do y'all know the HCB's on fire? I'm like, yeah. She's like, nah, like, yeah, we heard. And we drive by there and like people are parked at the fucking park across the street. Like everyone's just watching HEB burn, you know what I mean? And we drive by and I'm just looking at this thing like, no fucking way. And people say I use fucking hairspray.
Yeah,
like,
I heard
man,
that's what I heard.
That is, I just told you what happened.
Yeah.
So driving by to see that fucking thing engulfed, this is like, no fucking
Not
way.
from
Like,
a
no,
match, right?
no way. So we get home.
Were you scared that you were gonna get in trouble?
I mean, I wasn't just gonna go like tell on myself
Yeah.
or anything, you know what I mean? So I'm just like, we're gonna see what happens. We're sitting there back at my aunt's house where I'd picked up the matches that day. I get back there. It's about 10:30 at night. Officer Knudsen, bottle caps as we all used to call him.
Big booty Canuti.
Big booty Canuti. He gets there, man, and my uncle opens the door because we're staying at their house. He opens the door and he's talking to someone and he looks back in and he calls my mom. He's like, they're looking for your son. And he didn't even look at me. So I'm thinking like, oh, here my brother go again. Like, this nigga been in trouble for a long time. It's like, this dude. I was like, what he done now? And so, and even in my mindset, I'm thinking like, what the hell he done? I didn't think about me.
Yeah.
And then my mom goes to the door and she's talking for a second. Then she turns around and she looks at me and she's like, Mikey, they're here for you. And I was like, and I look at Mondo. I'm like, bro, you want to run? And he's just looking at me like deer in the headlights, like, what? And I'm like, fuck it. We put on our shoes. Knudsen comes in the door. He escorts us to the car. We go to the police station.
And you're 11?
11 years old. Yeah. And we get there, and they basically told us that they knew what had happened. So what I found out later, and so they questioned all the HEB employees. Do y'all see anything? Do y'all know anything? Blah, 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 blah. One of them saw the kid that I was with. The other kid that I haven't mentioned his name. Mm-hmm. And supposedly they went and questioned him, and he told on us. So they came straight to us. They were trying to charge both of us. And so this is where I just admitted to it, because now they're trying to charge my buddy Mondo, and he didn't do anything. So I'm like, no, this is what happened, blah, 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 blah. So let's go another step back. So the day before that happened, me and Mondo happened to rent a movie from Dusk Till Dawn. Y'all remember that movie?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh,
Cheech
yeah.
Marin, fucking
Salma
vampires, all that bullshit. Yeah.
That's what I remember.
And if you recall in the beginning of that movie, George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino, they're in a gas station type thing.
Yeah.
And Quentin Tarantino thinks he mouths something. So they end up in a little gunfight with the clerk. Mm-hmm. And they end up shooting out all the liquor behind the clerk and then throw in a roll of toilet paper, light it on fire, throw it, and then burn, and the thing blows up. Mm-hmm. The state's case against me was that I was trying to do a copycat crime, and that was their case against me.
That's fucked up.
So.
But you told them what happened. What did they say?
Yeah.
They didn't give a fuck.
Well, I mean, they still charged me with arson. I had a trial when I was... so that happened in December. I had a trial like the end of May, maybe beginning of June.
You had a lawyer and all that?
year. Yeah, a court appointed. We didn't have no damn money.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
But this dude, he was badass. His name was Kyle Maysell. This motherfucker would smoke cigarette after cigarette on breaks. He smelled like cigarettes. God, dog. But he was cool, man, and he helped my mom and other times in my family down the years with other things. And like, he was just cool, man. He was like a family friend. Tall, skinny, white guy, just puffing on cigarettes.
Just tastes like cigarettes.
Dog, just being in his presence, just like, God. He smelled like an ashtray, but he was amazing, man, and he was an angel to us, man. So, but yeah, man. So I had that trial. Took about a week long. They put all kind of people on the stand to try to incriminate me, I guess you would say.
Seem like a criminal, right?
And they would brought the firefighters and this and that, but I had a lot of character witnesses as well. And what's funny, one of the things they brought in a psychiatrist. And, I've done 2 psychological exams in my life, both called by my probation office for me to do to see if I'm crazy or not. But I scored very, very high on both of them. And where they were talking to the state doctor trying to make me look bad, he really made me look a lot better. He was like, this is really a bright kid, blah, blah. He's probably more intelligent than most of the people in this room, blah, 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 blah. I was like, yeah, bitches.
Yeah. I'm commendable, bitch.
But nah, man, it was a interesting experience. Ended up so they didn't convict me of arson. The judge didn't believe that I did it on purpose, so they convicted me of criminal mischief. I think it was like $5.5 million in damage. So I was 11. They put me on probation until I was 18. And yeah, I did 600 hours of community service. So yeah, for all y'all, I did my time.
The record's straight now. He didn't use hairspray.
Yeah,
because that was the long. Yeah. That's what I had forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, man, it wasn't hairspray. If I would have used hairspray, they would have got my. That would have been. Nah.
Hearing like those rumors, I was under the impression that like you guys set out to like burn down HEB. You know what I mean?
Man, wasn't a thought in my mind that day. It was a big surprise to all of us.
How did being on probation like through high school and all of that like impact your because high school is when you hang out, you go to parties, you do all the fun stuff. Did that have any impact on that?
At first I was on super intensive probation, what they called it. I had to report 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, every week for a while. But that only lasted for a few.
They thought you were a pyro, right?
Yeah.
They did, right?
So the first few months. And
that's just still a kid, though. Like, you're going to treat him like he's like a fucking crazy.
Dude, they tried to send me to prison, bro.
11 years old.
They tried to send me to prison. Dude, when the judge gave his verdict, whatever you want to call it, hey, I'm not sending you to TYC, whatever. The DA like banged the table, no lie, like he was legit pissed, and everyone kind of looked at it, and he was kind of like, oh shit, like, he was mad, bro. Like, I ain't got nothing to say about it. Oh man, I'm not. That's another podcast.
He probably wanted that conviction under his belt, as
I'm sure.
Just listening to like a different podcast and talking about how the criminal justice system works, and once you commit to a charge, it's like a win-loss record for them. You know what I mean? And you don't want to take that L.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I get that, man. Yeah, but like 11-year-old kid, bro. Like I was not trying to do that. Bro, I admit it. I lit that match. I chunked it right there. And when they said, "Hey,
because you knew you were doing something wrong," so
right, that's what I'm saying. That's why I threw it. Like I said that, motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't trying to hide it. I know I did something wrong. It very well could have been me. Y'all say the fire started in that aisle, motherfucker. I told you I did it in that aisle. Yeah. What the fuck?
That makes you go to think that like how many people, like how could you have turned out differently if they would have convicted you of that way and treated you so extreme? And you could have been a totally different person.
Dude, I would have
spent the rest of your life in jail or however long they were trying to turn you into some fucking heinous crazy guy or something,
What does that carry, like a charge of arson?
Honestly, man, I don't know. It's been so long.
Yeah.
But
a lot of money.
Oh, yeah. Especially the amount of damages.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think that has a lot to do with how you end up getting charges, how much was affected.
So did that whole strip, like, did that whole strip get affected? Because they had a movie gallery attached to it, right?
All of them, all 3 stores, right? Because it was what?
I can't even remember how it
movie
looked.
gallery and
I don't know the other one.
It was a movie store and a something other store, and then there was a pawn shop in the corner of the
Yeah, I
parking
remember the pawn
lot.
shop.
Yeah, and
That was a
but yeah,
little
like
ass
the
HEB.
wall between the store immediately next to it was busted. It messed up during all the water and everything, and like there was water damage in the next door, and it's like, yeah, like everything total though was like 5.5 in damage, 5.5 million
insane.
in damage.
Yeah, some would say you did the citizens of Lockhart a favor, because you know what I mean.
People tell me that shit all the time. Anytime someone's on a discussion page or something talking about something needs to be destroyed or this, and like, call Micah Franks. I'm like, man,
Does it get brought up? Does it get brought up often?
Do your work,
dude.
Papa.
I bullshit you not. Someone posted something just a couple weeks ago on the Lockhart discussion page, and dude Jimmy somebody was like, hey, Micah Franks, this and that. I was like, first of all, bro, like I got out of the demolition shit years ago. I'm into the fucking real estate. I'm into development now, bro. Like, so I'm done
Changed
with
my
that.
career path, Papa.
Yeah, thanks, asshole. But I said I have been in real estate for quite a while now, though. To be honest.
Yeah, that's good. Man, that's crazy, dude. I remember that day, man, because we rode by and it was a scene, definitely, you know, and it's like, holy shit, this big ass building is burning.
I was like when Dobbs burned down, everybody came out to watch.
Yeah, we were upset with that.
We were sitting across the street eating ice cream. That's when my family owned the nursery. We were sitting over there eating ice cream in the parking lot watching. It's fucked up, right?
Dobbs.
Yeah.
That was, I mean, shit, they needed an upgrade too. That was kind of, I mean,
Well, all the grease in that motherfucker that never got cleaned up.
That shit will catch fire like crazy, man. Like in most kitchens, man, like you gotta clean very well, because that stuff can catch fire. After a while, man, all that buildup of soot and all that crap.
He said, JP, heard the real estate business is on fire.
Man, but to go back to kind of answer your question, you asked like how that affected me growing up. Man, like I said, I was on that super intensive probation for a while. Then I was it's kind of normal, whatever. Man, you know, a lot of my friends at the time, their parents were like, we don't want you hanging around with that kid. You know what I'm saying? That was kind of tough, because, like, you know, people I cared about, but now acting like, you know, this kid he's bad news, which, I mean, I get it, you know, don't get me wrong, but I was the same kid. Like, I was fucking playing with matches, bro. And, but I still had some friends that stayed close. And as I got into high school, like you said, man, like I wanted to be like everybody else. I want to go out and I want to party and I want to do this and that, man. But I had a curfew, and there were times that I would stay at home and people were going out. I had one good friend, JP Liao, my nigga right there, you know what I'm saying? Man, that dude stayed with me when I was on lockdown, couldn't go nowhere, and people used to always make fun of like, y'all are gay, blah, blah, blah. Like, nah, man, that nigga held me down. He stayed with me when I was, you know, it sucked being a teenager, and like that, man.
What was your curfew? Like 9 o'clock?
Shit, nah, it was even earlier than that sometimes, man.
Shit.
And had to ask to do anything, get it okayed, and all that shit. It had monitors on here and there, and just stupid shit, bro. But you know.
How did it feel when you finally got off?
Oh, dude, I smoked a blunt with my brother. I smoked a fat blunt with my brother. No lie.
That's a good way to celebrate.
Yeah.
He's listening to that PMC song.
I can imagine, man, especially when you're young, dude. You know, I mean, you're basically trapped at home, huh?
Yeah. But, I mean, don't get me wrong. I was still out there acting a fool sometimes, man. And, man, my mom had to come pull me out of parties and shit sometimes, and because I was out being somewhere I shouldn't, and, you know, she didn't want me to get in trouble. And, man, my mom was a G, bro. We put her through so much hell. So, Mom, sorry. I love you. You know, I told her the same thing, man. Like, I've just out of nowhere, like, my mom is so sorry for blah, 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 blah. And she's just like, baby, it's okay.
Then you feel even worse, too, because she's all accepting about it.
Yeah.
You love you.
Fuck.
That's,
Yeah,
I mean,
I
like,
was horrible, man.
Yeah,
I was a
that's-
horrible kid at times.
you know, parents, man, and being a parent too, you love your kids no matter what, you know what I mean, and unconditionally, you know, and
Absolutely.
it's our job to be there and support them, you know, no matter what and stuff. But at the same time, like, your parents, you don't realize it when you're a kid, because I used to think, like, my mom, like, I feel bad about, like, once I hit like 6th grade, I wanted like Vince Carter Nike Shocks. I remember they were like $150, dude, and my mom constant, I don't have money, dude. I bitched about it so much, and she went and bought them. And looking back, I'm like, dude, I feel bad, man. You know what I mean? Because I know she didn't have the money for them, but she made do. Like, she sacrificed, you know.
Yeah.
And it like, as kids, we think that our parents have to. I tell my kids, you you get shelter, you get clothes, and you get food. That's all that's guaranteed. Everything else is extra.
That's all you're expected to do. Like that's what they say. Legally, it's all you're expected to do. You ain't got to give all that extra shit. Clothes on your back. That's it.
Yeah.
But then you want to do extra. You know, you want to be.
Oh yeah.
Man, you want to be that one. Man, my dad bought me this nice ass hat, whatever.
Yeah. Or shoes, whatever.
Yeah.
The fuck.
Yeah.
Do you get mad when people bring that up? Like
What?
Like this HEB and stuff?
Oh, nah, man. Dude, it was, I mean, you know, like I said, I'm 37 now, man. That happened at 11 years old. It almost just seems like a story I tell people. Like, I know I lived it, you know what I mean? And I went through it, but, like...
It's been so long.
It's been so long. Like I said, it don't hold me back. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm traumatized or anything by it. I don't give it a second thought unless somebody brings it up. Like, so... It's just another cool story.
You could think of it as like maybe it saved you.
Yeah, in a lot of ways.
I mean, in a way, it could have, you know,
dude. Because I mean, if I'm honest, bro, like even though I was on probation all these years, like I said, dude, like I still started selling freaking Xanax at 15 years old. I was on probation with Xanax pills at school. You know what I'm saying? Like selling them out of my locker. Like stupid, bro. Like I mean, hey, yeah. You know what I mean? Like I'm just being honest, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was still out there, bro, and I ended up getting in trouble again, man. When I was 16 years old, me and some friends were out, and we're all barred out, drunk. I'm driving, shouldn't have been driving. Friends passed out in the seat. The guy whose car I'm driving passed out in the back seat because he's more messed up than I am. My friend is sitting in the front seat on the floorboard, and she's got like her head on the seat where she's talking to me, and I'm just driving. I'm looking over, we're talking.
Like, what kind of sense does that make, though?
Bro, before you know it, we are upside down. She is in the fucking back seat. He is no longer in the car.
Oh, shit.
Dude, I'm hanging upside down. Like, what the fuck? Undo my seatbelt, hit the fucking roof, crawl out the car. My buddy's rolling around in the street and fucking, he tries to stand up and he drops to the ground. I'm like, dude, sit down. Like, stop trying. He's like, dog. The good thing he was drunk because he was limp when he got flung out. You know what I mean? So that was good. But man, that right there messed up my baseball opportunities, man. I got locked up the summer before my senior year. I had several D1 schools and professional scouts looking at me going into my senior year, but I didn't play the summer before my senior year. So they're like, where the hell's Micah Franks? What's he doing? They find out I'm in trouble, that I am locked up that summer because I got in trouble during the school year. My probation was trying to not hinder my school and locking me up in the summer, but that hindered my baseball. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, man.
But you turned around to be positive now.
Yeah.
Try and bring some light back to it.
Well, yeah, I'm just, just putting it all out.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, regardless of all the stupid shit I've done, like, those are just, man, those are old chapters, bro.
Yeah.
Those are old chapters in my life. It's got nothing to do with me now. And I'm moving and grooving, baby.
Yeah, you live and you learn.
So,
You can't be stuck in the past.
Doing big things.
Oh, yeah, man. I'm glad I have the experience I have and the head on me that I have. Like, fuck it.
Built you to be a really strong person.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When you got into MMA, were you like a fan of like MMA, like Pride, UFC, and all that?
Oh yeah, I've been watching that kind of stuff for years. Like I said, growing up, man, I watched a lot of martial arts movies and stuff like that. I always wanted to do martial arts, but being in all the traditional sports, I never had time. I played football, I played baseball, you know what I'm saying, in school. So I didn't have a lot of time to devote to anything like that. I always wanted to. And so when I got out of school and I was about 20 years old, a couple of years, I played 2 years of college ball coming out of high school. And then I was sitting around for 1 year not doing anything. And I'm like, I got to do something. Like, I was used to competing. I was young still. Like, I need to do something. And, MMA was growing at the time. And I had a couple buddies who were really, really into it. And I'm like, I'm going to be a fucking fighter. And I trained for 10 months before I had my first professional fight. Didn't even do amateurs.
So you went straight pro?
Straight pro, bro. It wasn't like my plan or anything. Just kind of worked out that way. One of my buddies had a couple of professional fights, and they were looking for another fighter on that card. And he was like, it was 3.5 weeks before the fight. They were like, we need someone to fight at this weight. Can you do it? And I'm like, so high-minded. I'm like, yeah, I got it. 3.5 weeks away. I needed to lose like 30-something pounds. Never fought before in my life. Yeah, no problem. I got this. and dropped the weight. Worst weight cut of my life, bro. Oh my God.
You're dying.
I got to, so back then I competed at 170. I think when I got the phone call, it was about 200 pounds. I was 198 actually. I was 198. I needed to lose 28 pounds. I got to 178 the day before the weigh-ins, and so the day before I started already weight cutting. No water, no nothing. You know how it is. And so I got to the end of that night, and I think I went to bed at like 173. I'm like, all right, wake up, do a little more, get on the scale, I'm done, I can rehydrate, I'm good. Well, during the night, my dumb ass cheating, I go and have a couple popsicles. Not a couple, I have a few popsicles. Liquid, right?
He was
I wake up in the morning.
Right?
I wake up in the morning, bro, and I'm back at 178. And I was like, fuck.
From a couple popsicles?
Oh, I probably ate like 4 or 5.
Were your coaches like, what the fuck?
I mean, it was my buddy. Back then, it was me and my buddy, Van Tactic, my dude out there. We did a lot of our training and a lot of our weight cutting and all that stuff. Just me and him. He was the only other one in the gym. He's like, I believe he's half white, half Vietnamese.
Does he look white?
He looks like a
familiar,
white Vietnamese person. But anyways, man. So I wake up. I'm at his house. I'm back to 178. He looks at me and he was just like, "Well, you gotta weigh in later. Like, what the fuck are you gonna do about it?" So I'm like, "Fuck." We go in we go in his restroom and turn it up. Turn the faucet all the way on, turn the shower all the way on, close the door, turn it hot, and he's in there with me, and I'm doing all I can. I'm dying, bro. And I get down to like 170. I know I got like 3 or 4 pounds I still need to do, and I was like, dude, take me back to my buddy Kalunga's house. He's got a exercise bike, and I can sit down. Like, I can't even stand anymore. Like, I can't shadow box. I am depleted from all this, all this working out the previous weeks, cutting down my nutrition so that I'm knowing that I'm actively making sure that I'm dropping this weight. And then the last couple of days, like, I've already been cutting weight, and I'm doing it extra because I cheated. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, take me to Kalunga's house. I get on that bike, man, and I'm just like in every 15, 20 minutes, I'm losing a pound. Like, okay. And I got to take off all my gear, weigh myself, wipe off all the sweat and all the thing, and then put all that nasty shit back on.
Are you in a sauna
every
suit
layer,
or
2 sauna suits, 3 or 4 layers, beanies. Like, this shit's dangerous. Your body heat's going up. You're extremely dehydrated. Fuck, you start having talks with God. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, dude, if you've never been, most people are dehydrated on the norm, but to be this dehydrated is like, it's like spiritual, bro.
You're like having an out of body experience.
So you never got the notification?
It's
I know,
crazy.
it seems like a lot of people never did.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Did you ever think about quitting?
What?
Like right then and there, like, fuck it, I ain't gonna make the weight.
Oh, no, man, never a doubt in my mind.
There you go.
It was like, it sucked. I don't know how I was going to, but I was like, I got this fucker not letting me stop. I'm not gonna stop. Like, unless I pass out here and I just can't, like, I'm gonna do this until I have to. Like, I said, I'm a fucking professional. I said, I'm gonna come in at this weight. I'm gonna come in at this weight.
What was the first thing you had after you made weight?
Popsicles.
And I think I had some Pedialyte or some shit, man. And that was just like a trick that other fighters had told me, like, when you're coming off and you're extremely dehydrated, you need to put electrolytes and shit back in your body.
Because you can't just go right back in and just like start grubbing.
It's hard to. You hurt your stomach. Yeah. It's hard to just engorge and stuff when you're in that state.
Was that the worst weight cut you ever had?
Yeah, dude. And that was the least amount. That was only 8 pounds. I cut as much as 17 pounds once. But, your body kind of gets used to doing things. And it was just the first time. I had never done it. It was tough. And then once you've done it before, you know what to do.
Safe to say you never cheated again?
Nah, man. I got way better at it, dude. I got way better at cutting the weight. I figured it out for me. What I would always usually do, 24 hours out from getting on the scale, I'd stop drinking water. Or I'd stop drinking or eating. And then I would get as close as I possibly could to my body weight that I wanted to be at. On that day, drink a little bit of water, or drink a Gatorade, normal size, just sipping on it that night. So I'm thirsty. I know I'm thirsty, but it helped me stay content. And I wake up in the morning, dude, just from not eating something for 24 hours, if you imagine the amount of food and stuff you put in your body in 24 hours and not having that in you, on top of all that sweating, you're down a good amount of pounds and you wouldn't even realize it. Like I would literally just wake up and at that same time the next day, I was 3 or 4 pounds lighter just from not consuming it.
The shit would make you feel like shit.
You kind of get used to it, man. But if you've ever been to weigh-ins, man, you can tell the guys who cut a lot more weight. Like they're not happy.
I've seen some bad weight cuts.
They're
dude.
not
like,
happy, bro.
I've seen dudes not even
sick.
able to like make it onto the scale. They're just like,
yeah, sick.
They can't even like barely stand
sickly,
up,
bro.
dude.
Sickly.
I don't know that I could do that, dude.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
So what do you think about like they've talked about I know like if you're familiar with ONE FC, so they have like some things to like curb the weight cuts. Like they don't really want people cutting a lot of weight. They want you to fight at your natural weight. So they monitor. I think they banned like IVs and stuff because they want you to fight like at your natural, what you walk around at.
Right.
Which is kind of like, I mean, for like big guys, for like maybe like John Jones, you know, like he cuts a pretty significant amount of weight. I'm trying to think of some other ones that cut down. Paulo Costa, the middleweight, he's a big guy. He walks around probably like at 225 and he cuts down to 185.
Yeah.
So you're like you're like a big guy, but you're fighting smaller guys because you pump up, like you can put on 15, 20 right after you weigh in.
Yeah, but man, I would say, like I said, I competed at 170, and there were times, like I said, my biggest weight cut, I was 187, and I cut down to 170. The bigger the person, the more sweat you have to lose. You know what I mean? And most people don't walk around at their fight weight. They're a little bit bigger, a little bit chunkier. They're having, they're not as disciplined during an off time than they are when they're actually in a fight camp. You know what I mean? So you're naturally going to get leaner and drop some body weight. Naturally, just now you're working out more consistently. You're eating better. You know you have to drop weight. So you lose a little bit of weight. And then you get to that point where, okay, I just need to get to that weight where I know I can lose this much sweat and get on that scale and be okay. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think that time that I was 187 before I started my cut, I obviously got back to 187, ate all that stuff that I normally do. When I fought that time and I got in the ring, I weighed myself, I was like 190 something. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, I didn't realize
that's just like normal in combat sports to do the weight cut.
I didn't realize at first, and Kalunga was one of the ones where because he would, he used to work. He was a beast, back then, working out and stuff. And it wasn't like I would go in and work out with him. And just watching Ultimate Fighter, UFC, and all that, I didn't realize how much your weight can fluctuate within 24 hours based on what you eat, what you do, sitting in the sauna, and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty crazy. Human body.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like some of those heavier guys, man, like they're closer, literally walking around or at fight weight closer to 300 pounds and dropping 30 pounds of water weight. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, those are huge guys, but they got a lot more liquid in them because they're bigger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, smaller guys generally can't lose as much. Bigger guys can lose more. So, you got to know your body and how much your body can lose and you still feel okay. Because, like you said, like some organizations, like it's cool if you go and do an IV drip and you get rehydrated just like that and boom, you're fine. But when you have to recover naturally, like you're more likely to not do something as drastic because it's going to affect you later.
Yeah.
So hopefully you would think that person would be smarter and plan and do it better, cut weight better so that they don't have to do something so drastic.
I'm trying to think of that guy that he fought Anderson Silva for the middleweight championship, but he was a Brazilian, but he was like drained, like walking up to the scale, he was just like, he looked dead.
Yeah.
And he made the weight, but he looked like shit. It obviously affected his performance during the fight.
Yeah. I mean, some guys, they end up not letting them fight, man. They're like, they're medically unfit to compete in the amount of time that they have to get ready. Like, motherfucker, like, you just fucked your body up. Like, I can't in my right mind let you go push your body the way you're about to go push your body.
That's a huge body shot.
You know what I mean?
To have to go perform for however long a fight is. How long is a fight could last?
Yeah.
Minimum. Or, I mean, if it goes a full fight, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, they do 3
you're
5 minute rounds.
the whole time.
Championship, 25 minutes.
Dude, my first fight was 9 minutes long. I went to decision. It was 3-minute rounds. And I got out of the cage. And one, it was a draw. I lost a point for grabbing the cage. And so at the end of the fight, it ended up being a draw. But I just remember thinking, like, man, my first fight, I only had 10 months to train. Like, I didn't lose. Like, all right, all right, this is cool. I remember getting back to the locker room, bro, and I was man, I ended up throwing up and just sitting there in the shower, curled up in the fucking fetal position for a while and just like, dude, my adrenaline was just zoo, and then it was just like just dump, like, and I was tired, bro.
Crash hard, huh?
Dude, you can ask my homies, man. Most of the time we went out after a fight, I was blackout drunk. I mean, dude, I was weeks of pushing my body super hard, super clean, all the eating, all of this and that, and then I go and just push my body to like, and then these fuckers trying to get me drunk and
let's celebrate,
dude. I blacked out. Yeah, I blacked out almost every time we were celebrating.
JP Potter says, note to self: fire bad, Xanax bad, popsicles bad.
Absolutely.
I heard learning good lessons today.
I saw this past weekend Michael Chandler and Dustin Poirier. Did you watch the fight?
They were banging. Yeah.
Something Dustin Poirier told Michael Chandler after the fight. They're getting ready to announce a decision, and he walks over to him and he goes, "Hey, Mike." He goes, "Hey, man, I ain't gonna lie, I was scared to fight you." He goes, "All respect to you, man." He goes, "Hey, but without fear, bravery doesn't. You can't be brave."
Yeah.
And I was like, I'd never thought of that. And I was like, it makes total sense, because if you're not afraid of something, how are you gonna be brave?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because without fear, bravery doesn't exist.
Exactly.
You know.
Like,
so were you ever scared during a fight, or look at somebody?
Like I said, yeah, absolutely, man. Because I mean, you know, that person has been training. They have some skills and knowledge to be able to hurt you. People get hurt fighting. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a game. It's the only sport. You can literally
lose your life.
Yeah, you know, like, it's every other sport. You guys are playing a game. Like, you're fighting a match. It's
trying to take his head off.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some people are vicious, bro. And yeah, so it's a little scary, but that's what you feel, fucking alive, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I've never felt more alive in my life.
And just to imagine that you're going into fighting someone you don't know, and you don't know what they know and what they're capable of, so you've got to just
exactly
put yourself up here and be like, he's capable of everything, so I just got to murk this dude.
Right.
I used to train boxing over there with Coach Pete, and that's one thing, man, I regret is I wanted to get a fight in, but I'd go drink after practice and smoke and all that shit, and show up and be running sprints, and he's like, "Why are you tired?" Me and Jimmy Bowen, you know Jimmy,
Oh, yeah.
show up on Mondays, just spent from the weekend. Why y'all slow? I know what y'all did this weekend. I was like, yeah, but
We wasted all last week.
yeah, I threw it all away.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, because I think it's all the other sports like basketball, football, they're team sports, but fighting is one thing where you go and I bet it feels amazing to drop another man, you know what I'm saying? And it's like a manly thing,
Yeah. And I mean, like you said, I played team sports all my life, and I was on some good teams and around some good players, but man, never really went anywhere, made it to any championships or did anything. And I always, I feel like in stats wise too, I was usually one of the better players on the team, whether it was football or baseball or whatever. But in fighting, yeah, you're the only one in there, bro. Like, you got nobody to blame but yourself, and you can be extremely proud of yourself for getting it done. If you do, or even if you lose, man, like, that's what I definitely came to learn. Like, people don't care nearly as much if you win or lose if you fight hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you give it what you have. Man, people don't care. And, I was undefeated up until my first 5 fights. And then I had my first loss in my 5th fight. And, dude, like, when I had that loss, like, the weight it felt good to have. Because, I'm like, I can't lose. It's this extra pressure that I'm putting on myself. And that, if I lose, then I don't know. But when it first happened, it was like, no big deal. My friends were still there. I still had the people there that loved me. The world kept spinning, man. Like, here I was putting all this pressure on myself, and it's like, fuck it. You know what I mean? So I learned I could take an ass whooping, and that's
and get back up.
You know what I mean? And because I guarantee you, a lot of people, they Mike Tyson says, everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And most people, you either get hit and you're like, oh, come on, motherfucker, or you get hit and you're a little more timid. Like, I'm kind of a little crazy, I guess, and I don't mind getting hit.
Yeah, there's some people that don't like getting hit, and it sounds weird because, who likes getting hit? But I've seen people that, like, take a punch and they're like Brock Lesnar was one of them for me. Like, he didn't like getting hit. Yeah. He didn't know how to react. As big as he was.
He could be the Hammer.
Yeah.
He couldn't be, no.
Yeah. Dude, you remind me so much of Romo Johnson, Anthony Romo Johnson.
Man, he just
R.I.P. to him. Yeah,
bro. Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude.
I don't know the story behind it. Do you?
He was battling an illness. I've heard it was a combination of things like an autoimmune disease along with possibly cancer or some other things. There's like rumors flying around, but it kind of reminded me of like a Chadwick Boseman type deal where he was kind of quiet about it.
Yeah.
You know, he was a good guy. You know, I didn't know him personally, but I mean, like just seeing him, and he retired early at the peak of his career. He fought for the title twice against John Jones and then against Daniel Cormier also, which are two world-class competitors.
Welterweight all the way up to heavy or light heavyweight. He was huge for a freaking welterweight.
He hits you with that right hand, you're done, dude.
Dude, he was a monster. Literally, when I was fighting, he was fighting, and I remember just looking at that dude like, I don't know if I ever want to make it to the UFC, bro. Like that dude is scary. Yeah. That dude's a monster. But yeah, sad to see him go, man.
Yeah, he dropped Daniel Cormier one time, but he got right back up. And I was like, oh shit, I ain't seen that before. Yeah. So I knew that was gonna be a fight.
Cormier is a beast too, man.
So once you hung up MMA, once you hung up the gloves, how long after did you transition to the Camp Gladiator?
Well, like I said, I started doing Camp Gladiator while I was fighting, and I always intended to get back to it. But I started Camp Gladiator in February of 2014. And
was it like significantly smaller than what it is now?
What's that?
Camp Gladiator?
I'm not sure. I know we were growing like crazy. Then obviously the pandemic hit. But man, in the fitness world where all gyms were closed, they were firing trainers left and right. Like we literally were like one of the best programs out there. About a week after we went into shelter in place mode or whatever during COVID, our company had already been looking into trying to find a virtual platform for us to be able to train, because we're an outdoor company. Like if we can't serve people outdoors, like we can't make money. So they had already been looking into figuring out like how are we going to work if we get shut down like China was. And so we already had a Zoom platform. Within a week of that shelter in place thing happening, we had everything set up to where all of our clients could log in from an app that we already had them using to check in at our workouts, to log into our virtual workouts. And every trainer turned their garage into a virtual gym for a while, and that's how we got by, man. And we thought we might lose like 10 to 20, 30% or something of our clientele. I think we lost 5 of our original clients at the time, and we picked up like 80,000 new virtual clients from all over the world. because now we were offering a virtual offering. And so, I ended up a few months down the road, man, I was making $1,000 more into COVID because now I was offering virtual training that I wasn't doing before, and able to keep all my other clients as well.
Yeah. What do you think about all that? Like the way, we won't get too far into it, but just, shut it down, shut everything down, go hide in your house.
I guess it doesn't make much sense to me and I haven't done much research myself, so don't let me fucking get out there and try to tell you all the facts, because I don't know. But from what I hear, the deaths of COVID is less than like the deaths of the flu. We don't go fucking indoors and hide all fucking time for the flu. Like we just deal with it. And yes, people still die every day from it, right? You know? And so it doesn't make that much sense to me, all the craziness that we did. But, some people lost their lives, man, and that sucks, and that's very unfortunate. And I mean, one of my very best friends, you know what I mean, was in the hospital for 13 fucking months because he ended up catching it and nearly died and all that shit, you know what I mean? So I know it's real, but
did y'all push like in like the virtual sessions about like taking care of yourself and all of that stuff?
Oh yeah, absolutely,
to combat COVID.
Yeah, and that was our biggest thing. Like, dude, one of the best things you can do to help yourself is be a healthy person,
which is something that they didn't talk about, like in the media and Fauci,
yeah.
And then
it was go get the vaccine. Go get the vaccine. And I did not get it until a few months ago. I never got it. The only reason I got it was because I had to travel somewhere that I needed it or something. Or no, I think I think I caught it in December. I was fine, perfectly fine. My dad, that's what it was. I'm talking to my dad, and he was like, son, they're older, you know, they're in their 70s. And he was just like, do it because you know, and it was kind of like a whole spiritual thing. I was like, Dad, if we're Christians and we're expecting God to watch out for us, like, why are we, like, I don't get flu shots, I don't get this and that, like, why am I getting this thing just because everyone's scared? Like, what are we scared for? Either God's gonna protect us or he's not, you know what I'm saying? And that was my mindset. But he was like, if it ain't gonna harm you to do it, and it will help other people feel like you've done all you can to not get it yourself and to not spread it, and that you've done what you can, then nobody can tell you shit. But as long as you're still running around and you got that attitude and you're talking about it this way, then, so I was like, for y'all's sake,
you're not taking you're the precautions that you can in order to protect everybody else.
Protect the next person, right? And so that's why I was like, you know what? I'm fine. If I get it, it's not gonna kill me. I'm sure I'll be straight from it, and I can tell them I've done what I could to protect you.
Which, I mean, looking back on it, like, you know, no disrespect to your dad, but which turned out to be false, you know, from based on like what they told us, you know, that this is gonna prevent the spread. Which you can still, looking back, you can still catch it.
Oh yeah,
I've gotten it twice since I got vaccinated.
I got it 3 times.
Yeah,
I'm here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, so I was never all that worried about it, and yeah, man, I don't know, might be a little high-mindedness too, but I'm just like, I'm healthy, I'm good, like I'm gonna go when God's ready to take me, and ain't a damn day sooner. So I don't sit here and worry about all the other stuff, man. I'm gonna live my life, bro.
We were watching we were watching a movie on Hulu this past weekend with the kids, playing some board games and stuff, and I think I was looking on my phone or something during the commercial break, but I'm hearing the commercial, and Hulu got some crazy commercials, man, let me tell you. And I hear this chick, and she's like, I was depressed, and I'm this and that, and thanks to, it was a medication commercial, and thanks to this, you know, I feel better, and like, I look up, and this chick's like 300 pounds, and like, I just couldn't help myself, and I said, I was like, no wonder you're depressed, you're fat as fuck, you know what I mean? Like, and I told my kids, and they were like, and I was like, no, I'm serious. Like, I was like, you're depressed, you're this and that, but your first thing is to run to a pill?
Yeah.
Like, how about you go outside and fucking go for a fucking run?
No self-help.
Yeah.
Right? You just want assistance from everybody
else. There's never been a time when, like, I went for a run and I was like, man, I wish I didn't do that. There's literally never been a time or worked out or anything, you know, like, and you get this feeling, especially after you push yourself to, like, the point where you feel like you're fixing a break, you know, like, you just have, like, this like, high, you know. I used to run before we would come on. I haven't ran in like 3 or 4 months. I ain't gonna lie, you know. But I mean, it helps for me, especially like if I'm feeling like I'll get like frustrated, or I'll feel like aggravated, or you know, any little thing that like, you know, like the kiddos or anything. Like I'm just like, oh man, like I just get like aggravated, you know. And I'm like, I need to go for a run, you know.
Yeah.
And that's when I started running, was just for a stress relief.
Yeah.
You know, and it, you know, turned into whatever it is. But I'm just like, dude, like. Just push your body a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Instead of like going to the doctor and thinking that you need like a magic pill, because that's what a lot of Americans, I feel like they think there's a magic pill for everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But before you do that, I encourage people like, hey, like go step outside your comfort zone, you know, go for a walk. If you can't run, go for a walk. Fast walk.
Do something for yourself rather than just jumping.
Put yourself in a little bit of pain, you know, first, and see how you feel after that.
Yeah, you know, obviously, you know, I kind of preach that, you know, as a trainer for so many years, you know what I mean? It's just, it's not fun. It's not pretty. It's not the thing you want to do. But like you said, when you're done, you're never hardly ever going to feel like, fuck, I hate that I did that. You know, you might think before you did like, man, I don't want to do that. That's not going to be fun, blah, blah, blah. And I get it. But being in poor health isn't fun. No. You know what I'm saying? You know, dying early ain't fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of shit that we could simply avoid, a lot of health problems, a lot of psychological issues, if we would simply be what we were designed to be, which was active, fucking participants in society and active people. You know what I mean? Like
giving yourself a sense of accomplishment.
That is
doing
the biggest
something
thing.
yourself.
Like that's when we feel the best. Is when we've accomplished something. You know what I mean? Whether that's for ourselves, accomplishing it for someone else, a bigger, collective of people, or whatever the point is when we strive and do something challenging. That's where we feel good. It doesn't feel good to sit around and do absolutely nothing. Yeah, if you sit around and you're out of shape and you ain't ever moved your body, you're probably going to be depressed. I'm not saying because you're fat you feel bad. I'm saying because you don't continuously push yourself and
create a sense of purpose.
Then what the fuck do you have to feel good about?
Yeah.
You know, you're not doing anything. You know you're not using your abilities to the best that you could be. What the fuck should feel good about that? Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's crazy to me, man. Like, I can go all day long, man. Like, being a trainer, but you just gotta want it, man. You gotta want it for yourself. You know what I mean?
I've told Austin this before. Like, I mean, we're in our 4th year of doing the podcast, and I still get nervous sometimes. Like when we have certain guests, like that I'm not like familiar with, or like I'm like, fuck, dude, like I want to deliver a good show, you know. And so I would go running, you know, just to get shit off my mind or whatever. But after I'm done, I'm like, all right, like that's the hardest thing I'm gonna do today, you know. Right. So now let's go and tackle this other thing that is below that, you know. I'm an avid listener of Joe Rogan, and he always repeats this quote. He's like, the hardest thing you've done is the hardest thing that you've done. You know what I'm saying? Everything else is below that, you know? So it kind of gives you a little sense of confidence, you know, or like, oh, I went and climbed Mount Everest. Now let me go knock out this interview or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
No, absolutely, man. Accomplishments. That's as, what's that guy I listen to? He's an ultra runner. David Goggins. You know what I mean? He talks about his cookie jar. Like, you know, in hard times, man, and when you're struggling, you got to sit there and remember, like, what the shit that I've been through, you know what I mean, to help you push through the other just random bullshit that you're going through. Like, man, I've done this, and this. This bullshit is not going to kill me. It is not going to, you know, cause me to lose my peace. Like, I'm going to get through this shit, too. Whatever it is, you know.
I usually being just an overcomer, man. Before I come.
You know, if you've never overcome shit, you don't have that kind of confidence. And that's why I push myself to do shit I don't like to do. A few years ago, I ran a half marathon with my buddy. He was like, hey, man, we're going to Vegas. I'm like, let's go, bro. And I said, oh, yeah, we're going to run a half marathon. I'm like,
is that
what?
On that?
Huh? Yes, right here, bro.
Oh, nice.
Right there. Las Vegas. We ran Las Vegas at night. They closed down the strip. And you run from, like, you're like in the center of the strip by a lot of the casinos. You run all the way down to the Welcome to Las Vegas sign, and you run all the way down to Fremont Street, and then you run back. And then the motherfuckers doing the full marathon, they do all that and then run somewhere off in the damn desert, bro. Like, it's crazy, but
that's
it was
pretty
really,
cool
really
at
cool.
Night.
Yeah, Vegas at night, seeing all
just
the
grab a beer
all
while
the,
you're running and shit.
Dude, I'm sure some people did. I didn't. Dude, when I got done with that, I literally was like locked up for a good hour. I was so stiff. I had chalky white stuff all over me from just being depleted and just like salt basically on my skin. It was probably one of the harder physical things I've ever done in my life, man. I didn't do a whole lot of training for it. I got there, we got there on the Thursday. I think it was a Saturday night. And I'm like, oh, for sure, we're going to kind of like take it easy these first couple of days. Nah, we get there, man. Me and my buddy, we're drinking. We're in Vegas. You know what's legal there, man. Like, we're out there acting a damn fool. And I'm like, well, if he can do it, I can do it. So I was like, we're going to die together. And we didn't die. You know what I mean? So it was all good, man. But, yeah.
What was your time?
Oh, shit, dude. I think it was like 2 hours and 50 minutes or something like that.
That's a long time to run, though. Yeah.
Dude,
2 hours? 3 hours?
My headphones were about to go dead. I think I had like 3% on my phone when I'm sitting there walking around like a zombie trying to find my homeboy's girl because she's got our stuff. And we're trying to all connect with each other. I'm like, dude, I'm hurting bad. Oh, it was horrible. I got in the shower and I literally let hot water run on my legs for like 30 minutes. Literally. And I'm sitting there just beating on my legs with my fist. Like, I was so tight. Yeah, that's so crazy. Tight, so stiff.
Fuck that.
Dude, so one time when I was training, so like I said, my idea of training for this thing was this. So we're going to be going, it's a couple months away. I'm like, all right, I'm going to run a mile further every every week. And so the first time I went and ran, I ran 8 miles. And, back then I used to run a little bit, but I wasn't running like that. So see how far I can run. I ran 8 miles. No big deal. I'm going to run 10 next week or something. I go out to run 10. I get to like mile 7. I stop to tie my shoes, this or that, and like I just start cramping really bad. I end up sitting on the ground. I can't even get up. I'm down the street from your dad's old house, my brother's old house right there, whatever the street that is. And I call Monica to come pick me up, and I literally can't even get myself off the ground.
Oh shit!
I'm so stiff. I'm
just
cramping.
roll me in the back of the truck, right?
And dude, and so I got to feeling like that at about mile marker 11. And
how far is a half marathon?
13 miles. 13.1 or whatever.
Yeah.
And I got to mile 11, and I felt just like that, bro. And I remember just being like, I can't walk. I can't. If I do, I won't get started again. And so I just, like little grandpa, those last few miles, like I was literally almost in tears, bro. Like just pushing myself, and I keep looking at my phone, and like I'm taking pictures of every mile marker, and I'm posting it as I'm going. And I got people encouraging me and shit. Like that shit really helped me get through, bro, because that was hard.
Nice,
I am not a fucking endurance athlete. That is not my thing. You know what I mean? I'm a big hefty boy. You know what I mean?
I was gonna say it's a lot different
like,
whenever you're a bigger person compared to like most runners are like really small, right?
Most of them, but dude, I saw big people, little people, all kind. I saw fucking moms out there, bro, pushing strollers. This fucking barefoot Elvis ran past me at mile 11. This barefoot Elvis runs past, cause it's Vegas. You got people dressed up in all kinds of weird shit and Elvises and stuff. And he comes stomping past me at 11. And I remember feeling like, can't even beat this barefoot guy, bro. But I was like, fuck that guy, and I just keep going, bro. Like it was awesome. It was great that's one in my cookie jar. So it's one of the things I know that I pushed through.
That's really cool.
That was not comfortable. That shit sucked really bad.
When I started running the like 5Ks around town and stuff, a memorable one, I think it was like last year or the year before, there was this dude, he had to be like 70. And he was running out there shirtless, but he was just steady pace, dude, in front of me the whole fucking 5K. And I'm coming down the end, or at the Cinco de Mayo when you turn, and then you're coming like it's a straight shot all the way to the finish line. And I was like, dude, I can't let him beat me, dude. So I just turned it up, dude, and I barely beat him, but it was just a mental thing for me. I was like, I'm not gonna let this dude. But I'm like, hey, dude, hats off to him, man. Like. He was like a robot, dude. Like he kept the same pace, which was a killer pace, dude. He was probably running like 6:30 per mile, dude. And I'm like, damn, dude. I hope I'm like you and I'm that old. Shit.
For real, dude. That's funny.
You gotta take your shirt off when you run.
That reminds me. I ran it one time a couple years ago with a lot of my clients. Camp Gladiator. I tried to get them to get out there and do stuff like that.
Usually out there hyping everybody up and stuff.
Yeah,
dude.
do a warm up,
pre-workout. Yeah.
And Jimmy Silva,
yeah.
You know what I mean? He was out there running one year. Same thing. We're on that last stretch coming down. And I was bouncing back and forth. I had clients that were up further, and I had some that were further back. And I was kind of freaking trying to stay with the first ones at first, and then just slowly coming back, just trying to keep everybody that I had out there encouraged. Anyway, I got to the end. I see Jimmy right there, and I'm like, I'm not going to let him beat me. And I tracked him down, dude. And I caught him like right before the finish line. But yeah, man, a couple years ago I get there and he's like, hey, you running the race? I'm like, I guess. He's like, I'll give you free entry. I'm like, okay. He's like, 5 or 10. I'm like, 5 or 10 what? He's like, 10K. And I'm like, that was right before I that year. That's when I did the half marathon. I had never run 6 miles before. I'd never run a 10K. So he was like, I was like, fuck it, I gotta run a half marathon in a few months. I was like, let me see what I can do. And so I ran my first 10K that day when I showed up to do the warm up. And he's like, you gonna run? I'm like, sure.
I think he rides a bike these days.
Yeah, man. Nah, but Jimmy is cool as shit, man. He was my client for a while at Camp Gladiator. Him and his wife came out. Even their daughter, real cool people, man. He made it fun. He's funny as hell. Yeah. He's cool people.
It's cool being out there, man. I've made the Cinco de Mayo like every year, like the past like 5 years or so.
Yeah.
It's a good environment, good people to be around. Early morning, you know. I just have a hard time because Friday nights are like the. So I have a hard time. The first time I was like, all right, like I was like legit training, and I think I did like my PR in 5K, and so I was like, but the night before I had like a 24 ounce, like I cheated. Those were my popsicles.
Hey, I feel you, man. I think even almost every one of my fights, man, like I didn't completely just stop everything. I still drank a little. Sometimes I had cigarettes. I was an idiot. Like, I was so high. Like I said, just young, high-minded. Like, I got this. No big deal. Yeah, man. But train hard. Don't bullshit.
What's the biggest transformation that you've like helped somebody accomplish?
Physical?
Yeah.
Can I get around you?
Yeah.
I got a fucking piss. I've been holding for 30 minutes.
You want to take a break real quick?
Yeah, we can.
All right. Let's take a little break. We'll come right back.
All right, cool.
I'm about to pop over here, bro.
Tommy Mireles. Shut up, Tommy. That's funny.
All right, we're back. We're back.
Take a TT break.
Biggest transformation?
Man, biggest transformation. I guess one of the ones I'm most proud of is probably this camper I have. Her name is Nina, and I can't say she's like lost a whole bunch because she's like 70 something years old. She's still pretty thin, but man, like she made it to, and she still works out to this day with the trainer who's now still there. She had about 800 workouts with me. She's 70 something years old now.
Damn.
She is not the strongest, the fastest, but man, that lady will do anything I ask her to do.
A lot of heart.
Yeah, bro. She got heart, dude. I've had her flipping tires. I have her running miles. And I guarantee you, like, she didn't think she could do all that stuff. But as far as, like, weight change, man, I don't know. I mean, I've had some clients lose probably between 40 to 60, 70 pounds. But not all from doing just Camp Gladiator, also some of the stuff that they were doing as well.
Do you recommend like dieting? Do you give them like diet plans and stuff like that as well?
More like diet advice. As a personal trainer, you're not really. It's not in your scope.
That's more like the nutritionist, right?
Yeah, which I mean, you can get nutrition certifications and stuff like that, so that you are better educated to be able to give that kind of advice. But as a personal trainer, you can only kind of say, give general advice like, hey, try to make sure you're drinking enough water. Try to, I tell them when you go in the grocery store, try to stick to the outside of the store, buy fresh things. You know what I mean? Don't buy all the shit in the boxes. All the shit in the center of the store, everything boxed up. Leave that shit alone. Mm-hmm. Either buy fresh or frozen, and leave the rest of the shit alone.
Yeah.
Try to eat as much.
Eat perishable, right? Like shit that can go.
Shit that will go bad. Shit that is a lie. Shit that was just a lie. Yeah. Not shit that is made to be in a box for 2 years and it's still good if you eat it later. Like,
I think about that. Like, whenever I eat, I'm not the most healthiest person, but I also try to eat food that's gonna last for me a long time instead of like a bunch of like shit food, like Chinese food. I love Chinese food, but what happens when you eat Chinese food? 30 minutes later, you're hungry, right? It don't stick with you, so then you gotta eat again. So my way of like trying to stay healthy wise eating, I was like, I eat heavy protein. That way that shit sticks with me and I don't have to fucking eat a bunch. Yeah. I mean, I might eat fucking 20-ounce steak, but that motherfucker gonna stick with me for a couple hours, you know what I mean?
I always justify Chinese food, just throw a little broccoli in there. I got my greens.
That's a lot of nitrates though, bro. You might get some gout after that shit.
Yeah.
I was eating a bunch of broccoli and rice, and I ended up getting gout, and I was like, man, my fucking feet are killing me. My dad's like, dude, what you been eating? And I showed him all the foods, and he's like, dude, look at all these nitrates in this shit. It's fucking your feet up.
That's crazy.
Like,
your dad does his research on as far as like what goes into his body, right?
Oh yeah, dude, he's like a straight up scientist. I mean, he's a nurse by profession.
Yeah, and I see he has his own like garden and stuff like that. And showing your nephews.
Yeah, he got a lot of shit going on out there.
That's cool, man. Hey, if he ever opens up a daycare, dude, let me know.
Oh, dude,
I'm not gonna have any more kids.
He needs to be a teacher. That's what he needs to be. A teacher. He's really, them boys are smart, dude. He showed me their test for tomorrow. And it's all division, and I'm like, dude, these dudes are 6 and 7 years old doing this division multiplication, and it's like big numbers, bro. And I'm like, damn, I don't even know how to do that shit no more.
That's what kids need, man, is someone to push them. So math was always one of my favorite subjects. I made like A's in math all the time, but when I was in 3rd grade, Miss Red noticed that I was good in math, and so she started taking me out of like lunch and recess and starting to do algebra problems with me and number sense and all this shit. And dude, I was doing algebra in 3rd grade, and it was because she saw something in me and was trying to nurture it. And dude, like I never made less than like a 95 in a math class ever. Like,
that's so nice. I'm horrible at math, bro.
Dude, I love math.
Smartest man in the room, like the psychiatrist.
That's what yeah.
I had so for the sewer license that I had to get when I was with the city, like I aced everything else, and like it shows you what parts you passed. When it comes to the math, it's like one problem right, and it's like the simple shit.
Man.
So I took a whole math class just to be able to pass. It's like 6 questions, but I mean it's real complex math, like volume and distance and how to calculate amount of material inside of this ditch and shit. And I'm just like, I get there, I'm like. I felt like, what is that movie or like where they say this is what dyslexic people see?
Oh,
right, and then like all the numbers just moving. I'm like, fuck B. I think I might have just guessed right.
I think they say the best answer to choose in multiple choice is C if you don't know the answer.
That's what it used to be, right?
I don't know. I just remember hearing that. So I literally, when I'm stumped, I'm like, C. Like, I'm not going to spend my time on this shit.
C, the answer to C is I don't know. Fuck it. That's the right one.
I usually go, back in the day, I'm like, what answer haven't I picked in a while? Yeah, I'm due for a C. Let's hit the C.
Yeah.
Dude, luck will get you somewhere sometimes.
It do.
What's the biggest thing that I guess Americans do as far as like dieting to their body, like as far as like eating? What's like the biggest like mistake that people do, like whether it be fast food or eating like a certain amount of something or whatever it be?
Being dehydrated,
not drinking enough water,
and I mean most probably just not eating enough quality foods and eating too many not great foods like fast food and shit. You know,
do you think it's late? Do you think it like stems from like laziness of like, oh, I don't want to cook?
A lot of times, because I'm like that, bro. Like, who wants to prepare food all the time and then do dishes and all? Like, it's it sucks. So it's kind of nice. So you see some people doing like meal prepping and all that stuff. Like, oh, I get tired of eating the same thing. Like, dude, but if you do not have a plan in place, you are so much more likely to deviate from what you want to do, even what you know you should do, because it's just convenient. Like, it is what it is. So that's why these people plan this way. So I'm actually about to start this little program where it's really you eat the same thing for 2 days. So it's not like
alternate meals or multiple meals a day.
For like your main meals. So you're making like 2 days worth of this and that, and you're only eating it for 2 days, and the next day you're making 2 more meals. So you're at least getting different stuff throughout the week, but it still takes a little bit of planning. You know what I mean? And that way you're still sticking more to what you want to do, so you're more successful in whatever the hell your goal is. Like, I want to lean down. I'm trying to get sexy back. You know what I mean? Trying to get that Justin Timberlake. And, but, I can't do that if I keep deviating from my plan. And what I know my plan is to eat more whole foods, eat less bullshit, dude, you get so many calories in our drinks, whether we realize it or not, man. I mean, if you drink 2 sodas a day, that's way too much. Or a beer, you know what I mean? Or a couple of beers.
So I drink Busch Light.
There's so much empty calories in our drinks. And depending on how much stuff you're drinking, I guarantee you, man, like, some people are easily drinking an extra 1,000 to 2,000 calories just in their drinks every day, from their coffee with the sugar and their soda with the this and the fucking lemonade or the sweet tea or the whatever. You know what I mean? Like, if you consume an extra 500 calories, which is easy to do if you're having a couple beers or whatever in a week, that's an extra pound.
Yeah,
that's an extra pound, and most people are not exercising.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And then it's no wonder why we get 20, 30, 40, and we've put on 20, 30, whatever many amount of pounds, because just a bunch of little excess over time. Over time, a little bit becomes a lot.
Yeah. Do you think that if somebody eats somewhere in moderation within calories and like a lesser sugar intake, I mean, of course it's better than not doing that, but I mean, compared to not working out but still eating somewhat decently, it's I think better than just working out a little bit and not eating good.
I mean, on the flip side, you have people who work out and they have horrible diets, and they might be getting stronger and this and that, but they don't look the way they truly want to look, because you can't out train a poor diet. Period. Like, in both ways. Like, if you're lifting to get strong but you're not eating enough protein, I don't give a fuck how much weight you're lifting. Like, it's just not gonna happen. You're gonna hit this plateau because you're not doing the right thing. Like, there's a formula for losing weight. There's a formula for building muscle. If you're not doing the fundamental thing, I don't care how hard you're working at it, it just ain't gonna work. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man, I've seen this dude eat. He used to eat like 4 or 5 McDoubles for lunch, dude. A large fry, and then we get yogurt because he said yogurt's good for you. But I'm like, bro, the yogurt from fucking McDonald's ain't shit. Like, you're gonna eat 9,000 calories in one meal and then eat yogurt. Like, this is gonna fix it, bro.
Yeah.
When the yogurt's probably got a ton of sugar in it and shit.
I mean, thinking like that, and a lot of people do that. Like, I'm gonna eat this, and this, but because I'm eating, at least I ate something healthy.
Trying to justify their shit diet.
Yeah, that's cool, I guess. But if you keep mostly doing what you shouldn't and a little bit of what you should, in the long term, you're still doing more of what you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Like, and it's going to tell on itself over time. Like, whatever you're doing is gonna show.
I experienced that back in the day. It was after we graduated. It was about 2008, and I was always like 130, 135 pounds. I was a skinny dude, and every year, man, of high school, I was like, I'm gonna bulk up. I'd go out and lift weights for a week, and then call it quits for whatever reason. And finally, after I graduated, I was like, I'm gonna bulk up. So I was working out for like, I think they say it takes like maybe like 2 to 3 months to start like seeing like results. I think, is that pretty accurate?
I mean, it
depends. 4 to 6 weeks. Maybe.
It's all depending on the
depending on what you're doing.
Yeah, it depends on what you're doing. But yeah, I'd say after that amount of time, you should definitely be able to your own self be able to see some visual difference, because it's hard to notice difference because you look at yourself every single day, and you're not looking at yourself like in a time lapse. You're just seeing, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's very hard to see how much different you are today than you were yesterday. And until you make a drastic change, and then like, oh shit, I can see I'm losing weight here, or this is getting bigger, or blah blah blah. Like,
My handles
it
are
takes
gone.
a little bit of time for you to literally be able to see the difference. Even though you're
especially
probably
when-
changing over the whole time a little bit,
Yeah.
but it's just hard to see the difference.
Especially when you see yourself every day compared to like if you see somebody. Like, I don't work out or lose weight, but there'll be sometimes when my weight fluctuates and I'll see somebody after 4 months and be like, man, you losing weight? I'm like, no. The fuck you mean? They're like, you look thinner. I'm like, I might have shaved or something. You know? But that's probably what it is I may drop some water weight or something like that, or just don't eat like shit for a week, or just booze all weekend, and then that's my intake.
It makes a difference, man. Like what you eat and what you consume. Like, I mean, if you're a red meat eater and you eat meat a lot, or red meat a lot, like red meat's the hardest for your body to digest. And it'll, you know, most of us have a good amount of stuff in our intestines at any given time. We have a good amount of it. Some of us a lot more. And if you're eating a lot of red meat, you're slowing down the release of all that shit, because it takes longer for your body to process that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So if you just had red meat a few days ago, and I think they say it takes up to like 3 days for your body to totally process red meat. And I don't know if that's true or not. But I mean, I can tell from when I eat a bunch of red meat, I definitely feel fuller, longer, and you know what I'm saying? So my point is, like, depending on how clean you're eating, depends on how quick your body is expelling all this stuff. And so, yeah, your weight can go up and down a good amount just depending on what you've eaten. And like back what I said earlier about fighting and cutting weight, when I didn't eat for a whole day, and because I was eating so clean and my body was getting very good at getting rid of everything and then not actually putting anything in my guts, like my body was so much more lighter a day later because I was getting rid of everything and I didn't fill it with anything. And so boom, there's no wonder I'm pounds lighter tomorrow because I didn't consume anything. Yeah. You know what I mean? And some of us are backed up, bro. Some folks are backed up.
I talked to this girl, I don't know how we got in the conversation of pooping. She's like, oh, I poop once a week. And I was like,
dude,
what?
I know people like that.
It blew my mind. I'm like, dude, I take a nice shit every morning.
Bro, every morning.
And she's like, oh, I poop once a week. I'm like, what, do you not eat? Like, how the fuck do you do that shit?
Like, your body is toxic. Like, that's not right. That's not normal.
God, imagine it's just like a pipe and it's just loaded.
That's how our body gets rid of waste, bro. And like, that's not good for people that do that. It's, you know.
She's like, it's just how my body works. I'm like, that shit don't work, right?
It's not working.
You gotta get something checked out.
Going back, what I was saying. So I was working out for a while, and it was probably like 2 to 3 months, and I wasn't like seeing anything. I didn't feel stronger, and so my buddy Mingo over there at Kreitz, I was like, hey dude, because he was lifting heavyweight at the time, and I was like, yeah, I've been working out. So he's like, well, what are you eating? Like, I haven't changed nothing. So he tossed me books, all of this stuff. Dude, I just started just literally eating everything, and dude, I bulked up. I put on like 15 pounds of muscle, and I was like, that was probably like the biggest that I was in my life, you know, as far as like muscle gain and stuff. Like I was focused on, you know, what dudes are like the pecs defined right in the middle. I had my 6-pack going on and shit, and and then, you know, like a year later I had my kids, so I think it worked.
There you go. Absolutely.
You brought it back, and then just let them have it.
Man, so you got anything else to do?
No, I don't.
Oh, I wanted to talk to you about, I saw you post something about the cell phones. People being on their cell phones too damn much.
Man, yeah.
And for me, like I'm guilty. I'm good. That post you put about I'm totally guilty about, you know, like I'll go out to me and my girl like to go to Loop and Lil's, have some drinks, eat a slice of pizza or something. And sometimes, like, for a while there, we're like, all right, we'll put our cell phones up. We're both guilty of it. But you know, having the podcast and trying to put it out there and promote it and seeing people you know, just the likes and all that shit, you know, it's hard to like let it go. And so I'm like, oh well, man, maybe I need to. Some of my buddies are like, hey man, I deleted Facebook, Instagram, all that shit, but I kept Messenger to keep in track with you guys, you know, which is fine. But I'm like, my excuse is like, oh well, you know, I have the podcast, so I can't really do that, you know. I mean, I do think that it's a disconnection, especially like I was saying, when you're out eating.
It's like having two lives, really.
Yeah,
you got a life online, you got a life.
You're not engaged, you know, like in the old school way, and talking about how, you know, we grew up with you know, we lived from like pre-internet. You know, we heard, you know, when the internet came out, the sound to
dial up.
Yeah, these kids these days, they don't know about that shit.
Oh, hell nah.
I mean? Hey, I was calling you for 3 hours. The phone was busy. Yeah, so-and-so was on the internet, you know?
Yeah.
Or like somebody would pick up the phone, make a call. Hey, I was downloading this song from
cut off AOL and
yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, those talk rooms, chat rooms were the shit.
They're toxic as fuck.
Hey, remember you put in ASL, like H-sex location. Where you at?
Yeah, we'd go to the public library, man, and Yahoo chats, dude. ASL.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Funny.
But yeah, man. Yeah, you know, like I said, it's, I don't know. I just, as I get older and I want, me personally, as a businessman, as a father, everything, like I want people to feel like when they were around me, I was there. I was with them. Like I chose to be there. I chose to be with you. I would hope that you're here to be with me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's kind of where, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people just don't see it or don't care that much. And I don't know, it's it's sad because you don't know how long you're gonna have people. You know what I mean? And I guess what really started bothering me about this most recently was my mom had kind of started getting sick in the last year. And just spending time with her and then my kids being around, and when we were doing stuff, I'm like, man, like it was literally just pissing me off. Like, dude, like my mom could not be here, and I don't know when that's gonna happen. And like you little motherfuckers, like you have, like you don't know how fucking blessed you are to have your grandma. Like she's fucking amazing, and she might not be here soon. You know what I mean? Like when you're with her or when you're with anyone, like just care enough about them to give them your fucking attention. Yeah. You know, that's it. Because
indulge in the time that you got.
Yeah, because that's all the fuck you got, man. And so many of us, I think, and that's what I don't like about social media so much, that we have a half-ass feeling like we're kind of connected to people because we see what they're doing and we see them posting and blah, blah, like, but who are we really fucking connecting with? Really? You know what I mean? And I don't know, just call me old school, but man, like I care about connection. I care about people. I want them to feel like, man, he loves me, or he, you know, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And
or she loves me.
And so, I mean, that's just my biggest thing, man. And I be with people a lot of times. And I tell my friends, the ones that I hang out with, and I bring it up and I say shit. And most of the times, I'll just let them make it. But I'm truly sitting there feeling like, dude, I'm sitting here with you, and I'm choosing to be with you. And you're choosing to be somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I feel
I'm
fucking
amazing.
of it, Thank you.
You know, I'm guilty of it. Like,
I mean, we all are. I do it too. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, like, I mean, I'm a businessman. Like I posted, like I'm in sales. Like people are hitting me up all hours of the fucking day. Early in the morning, midnight, I'm getting fucking texts. Hey, can I go look at this property? Hey, blah, 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 blah. Like I'm working all the fucking time. But in general, when I'm with someone, I try to make it a point to not do that kind of shit. Or if, you know, I might have to say, excuse me, hey, let me do this real quick or whatever. But my point is, just in general, I try to do as little as possible on my phone, looking at my phone, when I'm with other people. As much as I can help. Unless I'm working or doing something, that's part of what I'm doing.
That's good.
But if we're hanging out, we're spending time. I'm spending time with you, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like with my nephews, my dad, he limits them to, like, he's got a timer he sets so they get on the computer. So you got 20 minutes, and whenever the 20 minutes come, they're like, let me get 5 more minutes. My dad's like, dude, you had your 20 minutes. You should have done it in that. Mm-hmm. And like, because I don't want my kid, because I've already said that to people, like I don't want my kid to get a tablet, because a lot of people, like, that's a babysitter to some people. But I mean, once they get older, it's different when they get older, but like not like a little bitty kid.
Right, when
it's
you
like,
can use it as a tool, it's different. But like if you're using, like you said, some people just throw their kid on the thing so they don't have to do it. It's just easy. You know what I mean? And I mean, I'm guilty of that too. But kind of what he was saying, like, dude, if you spend more time being totally involved in each thing that you're doing, so that when you're doing the other things, you're not worried about that. If you busted your ass to work today and you did all this shit you got done, then you can feel good about leaving your phone over there and not answering calls for a little while. If you did all the things you like, yeah, there's some things that might pop up or whatever, but for the most part, if you do everything you need to do, as good as you need to do it, and totally focus on that thing while you do it, you can kind of time block or compartmentalize. Okay, this time I'm doing this and I'm not doing that because I already did that.
Dedicate time off your phone to people.
Right. And if you need to be online and you need to check your messages, like, hey, I'm going to do that at this time. We're going to have our family time, and at 9 o'clock I'll look and see if I got any likes, any messages, any this or that, and I'll handle that shit then. And I'm just saying, because like you said, for your business, because I have to do the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm, as a salesman, like, you're always on. And everybody I know that's in that type of work, like, you don't want to let a deal go by or that, you know what I mean? So like, you have to jump into, all right, I got that. And sometimes you need to tell the people that you're working with too, like, hey, this is my boundary. At 9 o'clock, I don't do this. Like, you literally have to, because some people, they don't give a fuck. Like, they want what they want, and they see you as their servant. Like, and I do want to serve you, and I do want to help you, but motherfucker, like, I got a life too. You know what I mean? And if I'm being honest, like, I do this because I want to help people and I want to make a life for myself, but this is more important than that. But I realize if I don't do that, I can't take care of that either. So it's a hard balance.
No, I have people call me because I leave my phone in the truck. Like after like 7 or 8 o'clock, I'll put my phone in the truck. I get my phone in the morning when I leave for work and I check it, and I have like 5 or 6 missed calls, 10, 11 o'clock at night. I'm like, dude, you don't have a family?
It's all after hours.
At my house, like growing up, my dad said 8 o'clock the house is shut down. No phone calls, no company. So I'm kind of along the same lines, but I mean, I'm also got to make sales too for dumpsters. So I'm like, damn, I want to answer, but then it's like you got to draw a limit too. That, like you're saying, you're like, okay, all right, after this time, they're just gonna have to let me call me back tomorrow.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, I see it like 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, I'm calling this motherfucker at 6 o'clock when I get in the truck. You want to call me late? I'm calling you early.
Right.
But I can't do that. It's unprofessional. But yeah, no, I totally feel that about the cutoff time. And yeah,
something I can't stand is when like we go out to eat at like restaurants, and then there's like a family that comes in and their kid just has like the newest iPad, but it's in like
that phone case.
It's in like this big ass like indestructible thing, and it has a handle, and so they just come and they're just, you know, so they can toss around like a fucking $1,500 device like it's nothing, you know. And then they're there and like, you know, mom and dad are like, you know, conversating while the kids have the phone and shit, you know. And I'm like, fuck, dude. Like for me, when we eat, like especially go out to eat, it's like family time, you know. Like you know, talk to the kiddos, see how everything's going and all that stuff, you know. And so it like pains me, and me and my girl will be like, man, look at this shit, and the kiddos are there watching, you know, Coco Melon or whatever the hell, and it's like a disconnect. Cussing cat.
Cussing cat.
Yeah,
we do cut off time whenever we do breakfast at my mom's, and no phones at the table. If you gotta answer a phone call, you gotta walk away, or you gotta do something on your phone. You gotta walk.
Excuse yourself.
But most of the time, don't even acknowledge your phone. Be there with the family.
It's hard, man, in this day and age too, because I want to say as early, I've seen it like 4th grade, kids have phones, and so in turn, we know what it's like when everybody has some shit and you don't have it. But you know, I do have like a phone for the kiddos, but it's for like if someone has basketball practice or someone's staying late, you know, hey, take the phone. And but I mean, we told them like, hey, you know, once you're able to, and the same goes for social media as well. Once you have a job and you're able to buy your own cell phone, then you can, you know, be on your phone. You can do social media. I'm gonna monitor it as long as you're living in the house, but you know, because you know, kids don't know how to you know, fucking navigate social media. You know, they'll be posting whatever, and just realize
bitch took my cookies.
Realize
or some dumb shit like that.
Yeah, it's like realize, especially like photos and shit. It's like realize when she hits that send button, that's out there. Yeah,
we were at James's house hanging out, and there was a kid there, and I go inside and I looked at the TV because I saw YouTube on, and there's a cat there just cussing up a motherfucker. I grab a beer and I come out. I was like, James, you come here, look at this kid's watching. He's like, oh, no, my kid's in here. Turn this shit off. Remember that?
Yeah.
I was kind of embarrassed. I was like, dude, he's a little kid too at that time.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, and James is like, not on my TV.
Yeah, I mean, I still get on my kids, and they're teenagers, you know what I mean? And they hear me cuss and this and that, but still, like, I don't want you sitting around by yourself, programming your mind with just a bunch of bullshit. Like, they be watching all kinds of stuff, man. I'm like, what is that? What are they watching? What are they talking about? Like, and I try to just tell them, like, dude, what you put in is going to come out. Like, fill your fucking mind with good shit, quality shit. And I ain't saying the person you listen to can't cuss or can't, like, but, like, some of the stuff y'all doing is just, like, for what? Like, what good is it going to do you, bro? Like, you're getting older. Like, help yourself by learning as much as you can, because stupid people just don't usually get very far.
Yeah.
And if all you do is sit around and watch fails and stupid shit all day, like, what are you filled with? Stupid shit.
Stupid
like,
cat videos. Right.
Yeah, bro.
A lot of that shit is targeted towards the youth. You know?
No, trying to keep them distracted, man. Like, I've heard a lot of bad shit about TikTok lately. I'm just like, that kind of makes sense.
Are you on TikTok?
I use it to edit my videos. That's it. Like, when I go to open houses or something, and I'll go into every room and I take a little videos and shit, you know what I mean? Then I'll put it all together in one video, and I'll edit it and I'll speed up some of the things and this and this and that, and then boom, I have a whole video with all the little pieces that I did, as opposed to me walking through a house that takes me a couple of minutes to go and do all this stuff, and just cutting out all the extra walking into this room and back.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Walking into this room, backing out, going back into this room, and, you know, then cutting out all that little stuff.
Yeah.
That's all I use it for, and that's it.
Yeah, it's also because people's attention span is so short these days. Like, if I get on Facebook or someone sends me a video, first thing I do is look at how long it is. If it's like 20 minutes, I'm not watching that
Dude,
shit.
we're speeding that bitch up. We're gonna.
I'm gonna skim through it.
I was talking to a guy at work today, and he was like, "I don't get on TikTok, but he uses it to promote his business. He does metal polishing." And he's like, dude, to be able to edit it and put a bunch of stuff into one video, it's nice. He's like, but I never wanted to download TikTok because I knew it was so addictive. And he's like, the first night I downloaded it, I ended up spending an hour and 45 minutes watching videos. I was like, dude, it happens. And like, I got to tell myself, hey, put the phone down or switch to another platform.
Literally.
You know, scroll through Facebook, read some stuff instead of just watching fucking videos for hours on end. But I mean, it's our minds way that we're beginning to train it, that we want instant gratification and something new. Okay, they don't like that, I can change it and get, you know, instant gratification from this.
Yeah, I mean, and it doesn't help that those apps are designed to show us the things we want to see.
Yeah.
Every time we like something, the longer we look at a video, it is logging all of that shit.
Yeah.
And so, oh, you like that, I'm gonna bring you more of that. Everything you like and you're paying attention to, it keeps trying to bring it more up to you. Every time you make your own little reel, the moment you hit send, it's boom, the next fucking reel's right up there, and you're looking at your friend doing this or that, or the next person, like, and they're just shoveling that shit down our faces. And we have to have sense enough to be like, okay, because I'll get lost in it too, man. I'll be 10 minutes in fucking looking at shit.
It's like, I was supposed to be just making a post.
I'll be driving and like, oh fuck, it's like, dude, like, I'm gonna fucking kill myself.
It's like a black hole, dude.
Every time I open Instagram, man, there's just like big booty bitches. I don't know why.
What you've been liking over there on your fucking account, bro.
But that is crazy how our platforms conform to what our likes are and the algorithm that it makes to put us in a list of stuff that's gonna feed us the instant gratification.
They want you to stay on.
Give us
fucking world, bro. Just mindlessly unplugged.
Delete TikTok right now.
Yeah,
But follow me first.
Before you do, are you like, do you take in any consideration about like screen time, like before you go to bed, like as far as like you know, they say like eliminate TV or cell phone,
blue
you
light.
know, like dim the lights and stuff like that?
I can't say that I practice it much, but I know, like, I've talked about it recently, even to my son, that, hey, I want to start making it to bed at this time, turning off, no more phones, no more this, no more that. If I'm doing anything, I'm reading, I'm feeding my mind, or I'm meditating, or I'm doing something that's going to help me, and I'm going to sleep by this time. I do believe that stuff helps, I guess. And I think just for discipline, like, I mean, if all you're doing in your spare time is sitting around and entertaining yourself, just watching TV, like, man, those are hours that you could be building yourself up. I saw a meme earlier or something that said, like, you know, the average American watches like 4 to 6 hours of TV a day, whether that's in the morning while you're getting ready, or if it's at night, just, you know, winding down. What if you spent one of those hours reading? I think they say most Americans read less than a book a year. I mean, how many books did you read last year? Honestly,
I have. I haven't read a book in like years, but I have David Goggins' book sitting on my nightstand that I haven't touched. I got it as a Christmas gift.
Which one, Can't Hurt Me?
Yes.
That's a badass book. I listened to it on audiobooks.
Oh yeah.
Man, I think I've listened to almost 20 audiobooks in the last year. I've read probably about 10 books. And And I mean, I'm not saying that to fucking like, oh, but my point is like when I'm in my vehicle now, I make it a point to, I mean, man, half the time I'll drive 30, 40 minutes and I don't remember shit about my drive. I didn't listen to anything. I'm just so deep in thought because I got so much shit going on and I'm just thinking.
Yeah.
But if there's very rarely a time that I listen, if I'm with someone else and we're chilling and we're hanging, like I'll put on some music because they're not probably trying to feed their mind the way I am and trying to grow and all that shit.
Yeah.
They probably think I do that sometimes. I put it on when my kids are there. They think I'm fucking weird. Put on some of my friends. They're like, put on the jams, dude. And so, you know what I mean? But man, I lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
Just about reading, feeding your mind.
Oh, yeah. And so I try to, when I'm in the vehicle, I'm listening to audiobooks. I try to read just about every day. I usually try to get it done earlier in the day, so I make sure I got it in. But I want to implement that to where I'm turning off the TV. Phone is off. I'm not looking at it till the morning, and I'm just relaxing.
Are you big on meditation?
Not honestly. I don't practice it much. Never really have. I believe it's helpful. I mean, in the sense that me growing up as a Christian, I'm usually kind of just doing my thing and, oh, thank you, God, bless me, or thank you for blessing. Like, and you know, very conscious that what I have came from Him. But I don't usually, until I have like a really, really direct need, like, hey, Lord, I need this or I need that, then I'm meditating on what I'm looking to happen, I guess you could say. Whether that's to be healthy or to do a thing or to whatever.
Kind of like visualization?
Yeah, I guess in a way. So once I have something in my mind that I'm looking to happen in my life, I might meditate more literally on that thing because I want that thing or I'm praying about that thing or whatever. But just in general, I don't just get up and do it on the norm like I probably could or should maybe, like I hear some people do. But yeah, man, I truly believe the more you can put in your mind what you want, where you're trying to go, what it is you're looking to happen, the more chance you have of seeing that happen in real life. Yeah. Because where your mind goes, your body follows. And if you're constantly thinking about bullshit, well, you're going to end up in bullshit. But if you're constantly thinking about whatever, you're a lot more likely to end up there than somewhere else.
Yeah. Are you in a hurry or no?
Yeah, I kind of get going. It's
all right.
9 o'clock.
Yeah.
This has been longer than I thought. I can come back another day. Yeah. We could do some more.
I got a few more and then we'll wrap it up. One thing that I've seen, like, just trying to do something different as opposed to what I've done in the past 10 years, which is like hang out with the homies, drinking, stuff like that. Do nothing. I'm like surrounding yourself with people who also want to grow. Like, I'm cool with like hanging out and stuff, but like, let's hang out and let's like throw ideas around. Let's think of ways to like make some money, maybe. You know what I mean? Yeah. And has it been hard? Like, because your friends that were young growing up and stuff like that, it's kind of hard. I mean, you don't tell them to fuck off, but it's like, hey, come hang out. Oh, well, I'm actually doing this tonight. You know what I mean? Is it like, have you like found it hard to like kind of do that, or?
I mean, man, I've been such on my grind for a long time. Being a single parent and having to take care of my kids, like, and I usually have them, have them every other weekend and some days during the week sometimes. And me, I've always, if I have my kids, I'm not planning to do anything else because I only have them half the time. I'm not trading my time with them for anything else. So I don't usually hardly ever plan to do anything when it's that time. You know what I mean? Some things come up. It might be a birthday or this or that, some special occasion. But generally, I will never try to plan to do anything when I have them. So, shit, I lost my train of thought again. What was the question?
Telling the homies you're too busy to hang out.
And so then, yeah, obviously, so one, I already have less time because part of that time I've absolutely devoted to this. And then the rest of that time I have devoted to the shit I need to get done, and I've been an entrepreneur for, over a decade. I've always made my money through tips or sales. I bartended for 10 years from the time I was 20 till I was...
15.
Huh?
15?
Well, yeah, I just actually started bartending again, but now I do banquet bartending at the Hilton.
okay.
Dude, the Hilton. Well, so like, you know, the Hilton's big on like doing conferences and big events with big groups. So a group comes and they have 100 rooms rented for whatever people coming to do their 3 or 4 day conference at the hotel. During that conference, they have little social events and shit, and so we wheel in a bunch of bars, serving some drinks, and we wheel that shit out. So it's a lot different than what I did for 10 years, which was work in 6th Street in nightclubs, which I'm totally done with. Totally done with.
Grew out of that.
Oh,
6th Street's crazy now, dude.
Dude,
Fucking
yeah.
scary.
Yeah, I hear bad things about it all the time.
One thing I will give, I mean, they got those fights down there in 4K now. Like the quality in the fights is like so like just it's HD quality now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, somebody's out there waiting for some shit to happen, you know, with the camera.
Yeah, and that's the horrible thing. Like, some motherfuckers are more quick to record something than actually fucking help somebody.
Yeah, but then like with that also, I mean, they could also provide like some helpful tips to like law enforcement, you know, to figure out who started the shooting or you know who shot first or something like that.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah. I guess one more thing before we go. Any advice for people that are looking to get into real estate or are, you know, barely getting into real estate? Any advice you would have for them?
If you're an individual agent and you're new, you know, and you think you can do it on your own and you don't have really any background in building a community or a network of people, then it's going to be really, really, really hard. So connect with other business professionals, maybe get on a team, do your homework. There's some teams out there with some really, really good perks to an agent, and there's some teams that they're not, and they prey on their agents. So find a team that's going to help support you. It's going to help train you. There's so much that goes into a real estate transaction, and when you get your licensing exam, all that teaches you is how to not to get sued. It doesn't teach you how to hustle. Most people are not. They get into it because the commissions are, I heard you can make so much commission and blah, blah, blah. How do you get someone to want to work with you? That's the hardest part. You know, how to get people to continuously come back to you and to send you referrals and all that kind of stuff. So finding a way to get in front of enough people, and just, you have to work hard, man. You just got to hustle, man. Sales is hard. Sales is one of the hardest things to do. And being a real estate agent is absolutely sales. You're selling yourself. You know, you want people to want to work with you, and you gotta hustle. That's it.
Do your
you
homework
have to
and
learn
hustle.
to deal with shit, bro. Like
all day.
There's I mean, with YouTube out there's a lot of information out there for free.
Oh yeah,
you know?
Oh yeah. Get educated. Get around some people who are gonna train you and train yourself, whatever. But keep learning. Don't ever think that you have all the answers or you're experienced enough that you don't need to keep learning, because there's just so much shit out there, and the more you know, the better off you'll be.
Nice.
So educate yourself.
Eric Hernandez, my cousin, he's in the chat. He said, shout out to my boy.
Oh, what's up?
Yeah.
Hey,
you know
man.
Eric? I think y'all probably went to school together.
Yeah. Eric, does he live up in San Antonio?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I know him very well.
That's my cousin right there.
I used to spend the night at that Negro's house. His sister Lisa.
Hard to take town, yeah?
Yeah, hell yeah, bro. I was just telling someone the other day that when we were over there at his house, we would, when we'd hear the fucking train go by, we would fucking run from his house down to the train tracks, and we would fucking go hurling rocks and shit, throwing rocks as hard as we possibly could. Dude, we used to fucking order people pizzas and send pizzas to people's houses, and we'd say we were them. We'd order it to whatever address, and then so-and-so would get a pizza, and they're like, what the fuck? Like, you gotta pay for that shit.
We some fucked up ass toppings and shit.
Yeah,
I did that when I was a kid too.
Throw some pineapples on that bitch. Why?
Fuck yeah, pineapples are good on pizza.
Yeah?
Fuck yeah.
Never tried it.
Yeah, I'll eat some
Pineapples
pineapples.
and pepperoni.
I think I've had pineapple,
That's good.
but I mean it's usually the pineapple and the ham. But
Yeah.
shit,
Sure.
I'm a fat boy. I'll eat whatever.
There you go. Micah, thanks for coming on, man.
I appreciate
We're
it, brother.
definitely gonna have to have you on again.
Thanks
Told you to
for
go by
having me.
fast, right?
It did, bro. I had no idea that was like 2 hours of talking.
2 hours and 8 minutes.
I talk way too much. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. We love guests like that. It
Some
makes it
people
a lot
get in there.
easier,
I'm like, hey, how you doing? Fine.
you gotta beat it out of them, man. You just
Right?
Yeah.
No,
Austin,
I appreciate it.
what you got going on this weekend?
We're doing the barbecue cook-off with Andrew down at the park. I want to come visit, come check us out. I don't know where we're going to be. Text us, text James, message the group. James will be out there Friday. We're going to try to shoot a little vlog.
Yeah.
Everybody's more than welcome to come out. I'm sure Andrew will love to feed y'all. I'm going to be making beans. I did my first round of what'd you call it?
I'm looking forward to hanging out and then trying them.
Oh, dude, my dad's been messaging me this whole time. He's like, dude, I've just ate this whole pot you gave me.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
It was
my
good?
mom texts me. She's like, your dad won't stop talking about the beans. I'm like, good luck later on tonight. Dude, I did. After I first pulled them out on Monday, I sat there and ate like a big ass bowl of them. And I'm like, fuck, I can't even eat dinner now. But yeah, they're hard, dude. They're good as fuck.
Looking forward to it this
Yeah.
weekend.
It's gonna go down.
You stuck your toes in it.
A whole shoe. It's a work boot, trash boot.
Did a shoey with the beans. Poured them back in.
Hey, we'll get you to do one this weekend.
Oh, nah, man. Nah.
With a crock, bro. Since you love crocs so much.
You know, give me a 12-pack. I'll do anything. Almost anything. Whoa. Incriminate
y'all heard
myself.
that.
Yeah. Micah, thank you again for coming on.
No problem, man.
Definitely
You
have
guys-
appreciate it, man.
another appearance, man.
Yeah.
My name is James.
It's awesome.
And we'll see you guys back here again next week.
Peace.